Salvete omnes, salvete amici, nomen mihi est Decimus Aurelius Ingeniarius, legatus pro praetoria Australiae et tribunus plebis. Hello everybody, good evening. I believe it's a full moon here on the east coast of Australia. Hopefully that brings good omens for the game tonight of the Republic of Rome board game broadcast for 2021 or 2774 in the year of the founding of our city. This channel brought to you by Nova Roma. This is the Roman Twitch channel. I am Decimus Aurelius, and we are now looking at episode 7 this evening. But first off the bat, let's say a big gratis tibiago to one of our senators actually in chat going by the name of Jortanos. Thank you for the T1 resub again. That's you've got a few there now, and so many badges. I see you've got your current hype train conductor badge. You got the founder badge, and then of course you've got your VIP badge as well. So you are all badged up like some of our senators here with their medals, particularly the old Quinticus, Senator number 18. He was quite gonged up, which is quite good. So we last left a rather long episode last Monday, and we just finished at the end of the forum phase. So tonight we'll see our senators commencing with the population phase. And they've got a lot of things to think about this upcoming Senate. They have a very low treasury. It's dropped and dipped below that danger 50 talents mark, down to 48 talents. Surprisingly, their unrest level is great. That'll bump up 2 or 3 when they got to deal with the droughts in this next phase. But that's nothing terrible, and I think the current consul has some popularity to the name as well. That's right, yeah. Julius does have 5 popularity. So provided they roll sensibly, they should do all right. But there's plenty to think about, lots to do in this session. So let's not delay any further. We're going to take just a brief moment to transition, and we'll be back very shortly. Okay, and now we are live. Yes, good. My microphone is working there. Perfect. And all our senators are live and looking happy. Give us a nice big salvete, senators.
Salvete.
Yeah, brilliant. Great to see everybody's smiling faces again for episode 7. This is probably getting close to one of the longest games of the Republic of Rome I've ever had the pleasure of being a part of, be it facilitating or playing. And you're right, it certainly gets on a bit, particularly when people start to do the politicking and the backroom alliances and the wheelings and dealings, and the amount of effort that you put into this game. The man hours build up, and we're starting to see a good playlist of a few hours gameplay build up on the YouTube channel there. So that's fantastic. Right, let's not dilly-dally. Let's get straight into the population phase now. So let's look at our cheat sheets there. So the first thing we need to do is modify the unrest level. And what we need to do is we need to add 1 unrest for each drought and unprosecuted war. So just looking at the wars first, and I'm going to scroll the screen up for everybody's benefit here. We've only got the 1 unprosecuted war right now. So thankfully, even though we had a disaster in the Macedonian War, you still have the required minimum fleet support there. So it was requiring a 5, and you guys have 5. So that is considered prosecuted from the previous round. And the Second Punic War only popped up during that forum phase. So the only unprosecuted war right now is the Syrian War. So that will be 1. But then there's a few droughts that we need to take into consideration. So there's obviously the drought card in the forum there, and I can bring that up for everybody at home. So that creates or worsens drought conditions, so that'll be 2. But then we can't forget about over here in the inactive wars box is the First Illyrian War, which also has a drought effect. And even though it's inactive and doesn't count towards our war tally, the drought effect still affects us. So that will be a total of 3. So perhaps if I can request Numerius Aurelius to update the state unrest level from 0 to 3, please. Thumbs up. Very good. So that's not a bad starting unrest level. You guys have certainly had worse. And the good consul, the highest ranking available officer, does have a popularity of 5. So fingers crossed for a good roll there. But as always, we're going to request that our HRAO, our highest ranking available official, makes a speech, and then they'll do their 3d6 roll on the population table. So over to for the State of the Republic address. Over to you, Consul.
I would like to thank everybody for the previous period. It's been a privilege to work with so many strong and powerful men. The intelligence and drive to kind of work with the difficulties that we've been faced has been very inspiring. I know we have our difficulties in terms of finding our place in a cohesive way. But we are moving forward to the next chapter with grace and with optimism. I thank you all for your hard work.
Very good. Very motivating. All right. So now we get to do the State of the Republic address in actual die roll form. So we can request of Marco Wedia to pick up 3d6 and give that a roll, and we're going to minus. So let's work out the differences first. So we've got a 5 and a 3. That's a difference of positive 2, based on the popularity of your Senator Julius as Rome consul right now. So we're going to add a +2 to whatever 3d6 that you rolled out. Now, one thing we do have to take into account is we have a bad omen right now, and that is going to modify your roll -1. So really, we're only going to get a +1 to whatever you rolled in your 3d6. So let's go ahead and roll that 3d6 and add +1 to that. You are going to roll an 8 +1, which is a 9. So we're going to see an increase of +2 to the unrest level. Does my math check out for everybody? All right. So again, if I could ask Nemurius Aurelius to increase our unrest level by 2, please. So that's not the worst outcome. At least there's no manpower shortages.
Agreed.
But manpower shortages aside, you don't have a lot of money to spend anyway. All right, so we are now at an state unrest level of 5. So people are getting nervous, I think, with all the conflict going on. I guess perhaps the lack of bread supply with the droughts going on. Right, we are now well and truly into the Senate phase, so you guys know what's going on. So back over to the console to run the first elements of the Senate.
Okay, so the first thing is we're going to elect new consuls. Oh no, we're doing the knights first. Sorry.
No, yep. Consular election is indeed first, yep.
Consular elections, correct. So I am going to have a discussion that I believe that we will probably be putting forward a dictator and a master of horse later on. So making it clear that for the dictator and the master of horse, it looks like we only had a few options. So those ones were only Aemilius, Fabius, and Julius. Given this, I wanted to put forward a proposal for the new consul and proconsul to perhaps be Furius from the house of Fortuna's Despair, and the proconsul Junius from the house of over here, sorry. Pre-Byzantium.
A note on this, for the field consul position that the senators choose, would it be representable that the ages are accurate and they are able to be sent to war?
Good question.
That's a very good question.
Based on the candidates, they're all looking quite young, so there's no prohibitions on being able to leave Rome for either of those candidates right now.
So who are the two nominees, Furius and who?
Furius and Junius. But I thought if we ended up electing a dictator and a master of horse, that we would be using them.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the dictator candidate. Julius is one of them who's 7, so I don't think he can leave, if that's correct.
True, yeah.
I think Fabius would be a better dictator choice, wouldn't he?
I think Fabius and Aemilius were the two dictator and master of horse choices that came up.
Though this could also change with the new consuls that could be elected, as they can elect the dictator themselves of their own choosing.
Correct. That is right.
But they mightn't actually have much choice, though, as well, from my understanding.
It's worth knowing what the pathway is, and I agree with that pathway.
Yeah, I thought that. Yeah, those were the options. And if Julius is too old to be dictator, I thought those were the two next best options.
I don't hear any counter proposals.
No? Did anyone have any other opinions to add to that?
No, I'm fairly happy.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
excellent.
I
Then
mean-
moving, yep.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. But the only concern is that Furious looks like Adam Sandler. That's giving me
No, you didn't. Oh, wow.
Oh no! Oh no!
Right.
So, I agree. So, terrible actor, but a great console.
Okay,
You can't unsee that now, can you?
That's
So
his
I-
nickname. Furious
call to
Avalon
order
Hill.
in the Senate. May I ask if the scribe's ready? I'm going to call for votes.
I'm ready.
So, firstly, Cornelius Jacobus, would you like to put forward your votes?
7 in favour.
Okay, excellent. Lucius Julius,
14 in
So it's
favour.
8 in favour. Sorry, to correct record. Sorry.
Numerus Aurelius.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, Julius. Did you miss Lucius Julius?
14 in favour.
14. Yep. Numerus Aurelius.
4 in favour.
Marcus Decimus.
3 in favour.
Quintus Octavius.
Just questioning.
Yeah.
Is this proposal to elect a dictator, or are you trying to have people agree on who the next one will be?
It's neither.
No, it's for the consoles.
It's for the
Oh,
It's for the
consoles.
consoles.
All right, just trying to clarify because we were talking about dictator earlier.
Yes,
Oh.
because I was of the understanding that that would be in our best interests to elect a dictator.
Mhm.
And so it was just discussing, well, who were our options then if we have these people as consul, because we don't want to then suddenly elect people as consul and then realize we need a dictator.
All right.
Yep.
I'll put my 8 in favor.
Okay, excellent. And then I will put down my 11 in favor.
All right. So with Quintus back in the tent, it's unanimous. And
It's only for Minius, all right?
All right. So
48. I have it at.
there you go. 48 votes. So if the new consoles want to take a brief moment to have a discussion amongst themselves, who's going to be who, and do our usual tradition of having the field console go first and announce who the Rome console is and welcome them to a rounding sound of applause. They can do it either publicly or privately. It's totally up to them. I guess it doesn't have to be a private discussion unless there's other strategy involved. It can certainly be a public discussion. That's not a problem. Oh, thank you for the beverage time from Master Splinter. Good time for a cup of tea, and perhaps maybe a good time for a brief commercial while our senators contemplate who's going to be who. So for all of our non-subs right now, please hang around while we have a quick commercial break, and we'll be back in about 30 seconds. Everyone else can hang around and see the back wheeling and dealings of the political discussion, perhaps.
I sent you a message, Tiberius. Or we can discuss it publicly on. Doesn't bother me.
But yeah, it's important.
Okay, yeah, I'm happy to talk publicly if we can. So you have a slightly higher. The military ratings are the same, aren't they?
I think yours was 3. mine
Mine's
was
slightly
1.
higher.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I mean, just based on that, just make them field console.
Yeah, I'm happy with that if that suits you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay,
There's
perfect.
plan to select a dictator anyway, so
Yep.
it's simple.
All right.
Easy peasy.
If you guys are happy, then please go ahead and grab your appropriate wooden and purple plaques. And then, of course, award yourselves the respective 5 influence apiece. The Rome Consoles one's obviously still in the Eurdite faction there. So you'll have to grab it off Julius.
Where's the marker for field console?
It was right next to the plaque under the unrest level there. Can you see that?
Ah, yes, thank you.
Who was
Perfect.
it? Junius.
Junius, that's it. And yes, don't forget your 5 influence and updating your faction influence tally trackers as well. In fact, while everyone is waiting, if you just want to, I think everyone's votes are pretty good, but just double check your faction influence tally is correct. Everyone runs their numbers. Good, and Pre-Byzantium's picked up the presiding magistrate plaque. Excellent.
Someone gave it to me, so thank
Oh,
you.
good,
whoever that
okay.
was.
No worries.
Just while we're talking about tallies, I think the vote tally tracker is well out of date.
I think it is, yes. So if people want to update the vote tally tracker as well, that may help out people like the scribe.
Is my faction influence wrong?
Let me have a look for you. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26 should be your faction influence. I'll help you out there. I'll get those for you. Yep, I'll fix that up for you.
Did I lose it, or did I put something out incorrectly?
I suspect you may have had a senator who passed away and you lost his influence. That's the only thing I can think of.
Okay. And the popularity doesn't add to it at all, does it?
No, that's the only thing that adds influence is the center number labeled influence on your senator cards there.
Excellent, just checking.
Yep, that's always good to check. All right, that's good. So your influence is updated now. Well done. Yeah, so everyone's influence is going to bounce around a lot. Compared to perhaps a standard Valley Games edition, it's because we're using the aging senators rule here that we see huge fluctuations in faction influence go up and down. I mean, you guys can of course remember just the Eurdite faction. You know, they had quite a large number, and now they're back at 6. You know, so it'll bounce around a lot through the course of this game.
Hey, just a question. Is there more senator cards when we get into the next deck?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Sweet.
So yes, you'll continue to see senators through all 3 eras, and even additional senators in the final Civil War deck as well, although that's not as big a deck as the other ones, but that's assuming you guys elect to continue on to those. When we get to our 9th session, I'll ask that question to you again if you want to continue on to the late Republic and to see how everyone's going, you know, and if everyone's still enjoying the game and it's not getting a bit long in the tooth for anyone, you know. So I'll always continue to check with you guys, and if not, then we can always finish at the end of a particular era. But if assuming we may not get there tonight, but at least next session, I am pretty sure that we're going to drop into the next era in the next forum phase. There's not many cards left, if any, really left in the early Republic deck. So you'll start to see the grey middle Republic cards once we hit that next forum phase.
Sweet.
Exciting. Yeah.
I'm looking to get a few more senators after.
Yeah, I bet.
My 4
I mean,
votes.
there's a few in the Curia we need to rescue. There's 2 in there that the HRAOs need to be able to roll out. Although with that bad omen, it's going to be hard. Okay, so still in the centre phase, the consoles have been elected. We've seen the change of hat now, so we've got the new Rome console from pre-Byzantium with Numerius Aurelius and Unius there. So over to you to run your program.
We'll just start with the field console doing the introduction, I believe.
Yeah, good idea.
That's right, thank you. So an otherwise choice by the Senate to elect Furious as field console, and with no further beating around the bush, Junius as pro console. As Rome console, sorry.
Thank you very much for the introduction. Junius here. You may know me from my previous position as Pontifex Maximus. So luckily with the separation of church and state, I tried my hand at politics this time. Hopefully have a bit of better luck. All right, guys. So we've got a few things going on, so let's get into it. So first of all, I'll be putting forward a Pontifex Maximus. As long as there's some interested parties. So we all know my previous history. So I mean, I guess I just ask if anyone's put their hands up. Otherwise, I guess maybe I'll just take a stab in the dark.
Oh, I think Marcus might as well put his hand up.
Yes,
Marcus?
I'll be putting forward one of my senators, Quintus, will be applying for the honoured and well-respected position of Pontius Maximus.
What again are the privileges of the Pontifex Maximus? I've forgotten them.
It's just the double votes on the war and a bit of influence, obviously. And
so
you get 1d6 of gold.
That's right. So you get an additional 1d6 of gold on top of your normal 1 talent salary. You get to award priests. You get your battle votes, so you get to double your personal votes of that senator for proposals that send commanders or forces to or from a war card. You also, and it's the one that you guys keep forgetting, is you get 1 free veto per Senate phase as well.
Yes.
Just a quick point to everyone. Do we have any priests still, or did they die off?
I think we got 1.
They died.
So we don't have any priests?
No, we got 1.
Yeah.
We got
We
Fulvius.
got one.
Fulvius is still around.
Fulvius, House of
awesome.
Julii.
There you go.
Yep.
Well, just
But he is 7, so he's
He's getting a bit on.
he's
got
getting on.
his walking stick.
He's sage now. All right. Well, I think that since we have one candidate, we'll go to vote on that. So the proposal is that Quintius of the Justita Merita Party will be elected as Pontifex Maximus. So I shall call for votes. Eurdite faction, how do you vote?
I have 11 votes for.
All right. Thank you very much. House of Incognita, how do you vote?
As much as I love vetoes, I'll put 8 for this.
Some teamwork, that's what I like to see. Fortuna's Despair, how would you like to vote?
I will put. I always forget my bloody votes. 8 in favour.
In favour? No worries. House of Julii, how would you like to vote?
14 votes in favour.
14 votes in favour. Justita Merita, how would you like to vote?
I will vote 3 votes for the proposal.
Thank you. And here at Pre-Byzantium, we'll put 4 votes to the proposal. So when the math is done, Scribe, if you could please read the results.
It's 48 in favour and nil against, so the motion is carried.
Perfect. All right.
Thank you very much.
Quintius, grab your plaques. Okay.
Start studying your scriptures as well.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, I wish you best of luck. Yeah, you're gonna need it. Okay. So next on the schedule is the electation of a dictator, if we so desire, which I believe that we do. So currently at the moment we have 3 wars. So as we were discussing before, we have 2 candidates. We have Fabius of the Pre-Byzantium faction, and we have, I think it was Aelius of the House Incognita. So I guess any discussion as to whom anyone would like to do that. I guess Aelius, if you want to put forward your perspective on the issue, or your proposal, I guess.
I'm just curious, who was the first one? Was it Furious or?
No, it's Fabius of my own
Fabius.
faction, Pre-Byzantium. We should note as well that we will be probably getting a Master of Horse, so I guess we could select
split
the
it.
other one. So whoever is the dictator could select the other
Yeah.
one as Master of the Horse.
Sorry, is there an issue if a consul appoints somebody from his own party as dictator?
Not a problem at all.
No? Okay. I thought I read something. Okay.
Was there something about, I believe it's censor that has to do with holding major offices.
Right.
So since it's not against the law, I would like to propose Fabius of the Pre-Byzantium faction as dictator. Oh, do we elect them? Or do we have to vote on it?
It is. It's an agreed appointment between the consuls.
Okay. So field consul, what are your thoughts?
I am happy to defer to your wisdom.
All right. So I believe that Fabius of the Pre-Byzantium faction shall be appointed dictator.
Easy. All right.
Easy peasy.
All right. So
Centralise the power under one roof.
Complete control.
you'll find the dictator plaque and his purple token just further down underneath the Justia Merita faction there.
Okay. Well, I guess I still the highest ranking available officer
Indeed.
then, still. It's a seamless transition of power. So, as dictator, my first appointment will be to the Master of Horse, which I shall appoint Aelius of the House of Incognita.
Nice.
Thank you very much.
That's all right. The token and the plaques in the sandpit as well.
Don't forget to update your respective influence. So 7 for the dictator and 3 for the Master of Horse.
Awesome. Just give me 1 second, guys, while I do that. And we'll go back to it.
Now, who can tell me during the Republican era how many lictors or bodyguards that a dictator was entitled to when marching through Rome?
20? That's a guess.
Any other guesses?
7.
I thought 7 too.
I'm going to go with 13.
So I'm pretty sure it's about 21 lictors.
Ooh,
Yeah. So whoever said 20, I think you're right.
Thank you. Well, I'm a lictor in the
That you are.
Roman Society currently.
You are. Appointed by the governor of Provincia Australia.
Yes, a bit of nepotism there.
Very much so. It's alive and true for sure.
Yeah. All right. Just give me a second, guys. Thanks. I updated that. Okay, so next thing we'll be electing Kensor. So I'm just having a look around at the options. We have Julius. Can't be him.
It's Cato and Sulpicius from the
Yeah,
House
it looks
of
like there's
Julii.
only 3 candidates. So 2 from the House of Julii and 1 from the Eurdite faction.
Okay.
So what's can I just, before we vote on it,
Mhm.
can we hear about any plans that Consols may have?
Yes. Well, there's only two factions, so I guess
Political campaigning. Nice.
Yes, or Marco, if you want to put forward your positions.
I feel that given my history, I have put forward a very strong history of being able to work cohesively as a team, respecting other people and their desires and the pros and cons that everybody has put forward. And I feel I've seen everything in a very balanced way as much as I can. Thank you for your consideration. I appreciate it.
The House of Julii has 2 candidates who feel they could hold this position. Cato the Elder has a long experience in the Senate and obviously is a fantastic orator, and Sulpicius has proven himself in the past. Both of them are putting forward that this year is a focus on the war, and if either of them was successful, they would not be doing any prosecutions.
That's what I wanted to hear. Prosecutions.
I do second that as well too. The Senate is a balanced place.
Okay. Well, I think that considering that the House of Julii has 2, and this will be a vote, what I'll do is we'll call for Cato first. That way, if the voters reject him, we can at least choose Julius. Otherwise, if we go for Julius and that gets shot down, then we have to go with one of the House of Julii. So I think that's a good balance.
I would like to point out none of this can be shot down as you are the dictator.
No, I mean if it's not successful,
It's just going to be vetoed. That's all.
Yeah, so
It can still certainly be.
It can be declined. But
That's
yeah,
right.
so
not
if it's,
vetoed.
so if it's not successful,
I have
then
some
I'll
experience
have
with
to go
this.
to the House of Julii. Okay, so I think just to start, perhaps Cato. He was a successful prosecutor before a previous Kensor. So I guess we'll start with him. So move to Cato the Elder, elected as Kensor. I guess we'll start with the House of Julii.
14 votes for.
14 votes for. Justitia Marita.
I'll place my 3 votes for.
Pre-Byzantium. Can I abstain for this one? Yes.
Yeah, you can abstain.
Yeah. I abstain. My 4 votes out of neutrality. Eurdite faction.
I am going to do 11 votes against. I would like Julius to be censored.
House of Incognita. How would you vote?
I'll abstain 8 votes.
And Fortuna's Despair. How would you vote?
I don't think it. Oh, it does matter actually.
It does matter.
It does.
yeah.
You're the
Yeah, got to reach that majority. Got to
you
reach
have
that
the
majority.
power.
I will vote in favour of the dictator's recommendation.
Okay, so what's the
What are the
vote
final
tally?
numbers on that one?
So it's 29 in favour, 11 against, and 12 abstaining.
There you go. Nice.
Okay, so the plaque and token are in the sandpit. Cato.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you for your vote of
Yeah.
confidence.
And I guess I'll hand it over to you to do any prosecutions that you wish.
Okay. Well, as mentioned in my original speech, the focus this year is a combined team effort in fighting those large wars that we have on our front. So my role standing before you will be short, as I will be saying there'll be no prosecutions held this year, and I will hand back over to the dictator.
Nice and quick. But there's one more thing before you hand it back over to the dictator that we always forget. What's the last thing that the censor has to remind everybody to do when he finishes?
Oh, yeah.
Wipe away the sins.
I
That's right.
free you of your sins.
So all the corruption markers can disappear except for those that are labelled Governor Corruption, but they're not in Rome anyway. But you can see those new tokens that I've brought in for you guys. It's labelled Governor Corruption just to highlight for those senators that have taken provincial spoils while away. Yes, and censor, don't forget to also update your influence too. Add yourself 5 if you haven't done so already.
Okay.
Yes, make sure you got all your concession corruptions are hidden again, and all those red major corruption markers are gone from your cards. So I can see the Rome consul needs to remove his, and Julius, you need to remove yours.
Yep.
No more corruption. Yes, I think the only governor corruption is now Cornelius. I don't think the other Trentius didn't take any, so he shouldn't have one. That's good. Excellent. Everything seems to be in order. Nice. Okay, good.
Okay, so election or recall of governors. So at the moment, we don't have a governor in Gaul. So considering that it's under attack, that's probably useful if we send someone up there to help bolster. So I guess I'll ask again if anyone wants to put their hand up, is interested in going to Gaul.
You should.
Gaul is a scary place.
It is. We should perhaps talk about what a governorship means there. So let me change everyone's view. So everyone just watch it. I'm about to change your view. Stand by. Okay, so everyone's view should now be updating. So right, as we have determined because of the Second Punic War, this province is currently under attack. So this is an advanced rule. It's called Provincial Wars. So if you're interested in looking this up for yourself, head to the advanced rule portion of the Valley Games rulebook and look up Provincial Wars or do a Control F against Provincial Wars and you'll see what we're talking about here. So the biggest thing that a governor needs to be aware of here, well, first and foremost, you must appoint a governor. So a governor will be sent here today. The second thing to keep in mind is that should the Senate choose not to prosecute the Second Punic War in this coming combat phase, the governor is forced to attack the war card with whatever strength he has got. While the province is under attack as it is at the moment, you cannot buy additional provincial legions or provincial fleets for that matter, and you cannot take provincial spoils or state income. So all that is frozen, and that makes sense considering it's under attack. All right, and you can't raise additional forces. Now you get to keep the ones that are currently there, but you can't raise any more. Now, I guess it's worth noting that the strength of the Second Punic War is quite a large amount. 20 what? 15 plus 7?
22.
It's 22, and then your strength of your province, or essentially your attacking force, is going to be the strength of your military rating of your senator, which will be about 3 or 4, plus 1, 2, 3 of your provincial and garrison forces there, plus 1 of your land strength. That's quite a difference, and I suspect, without running any serious numbers here, it will end in a defeat, and it will end in the death of the governor. Okay? So that's assuming, of course, that the Senate does not send a force. Now, if they do, the governor is right, he doesn't have to do anything. But if the Senate does not send a force in this combat phase, then the governor will have to attack that war. Okay, that's worth noting and worth the Senate considering before they a proposal goes out on the floor for this one.
Does the Senate have to appoint a governor?
Yeah, I think
Absolutely,
so.
yes.
Okay,
Must appoint a governor.
So who should we send to their death?
Could I confirm that we can't send any additional legions to the province?
So I've been reading in this, and I can't see anything that says you can't send additional garrisons. You just can't raise provincial forces.
Yeah. Very well, thank you.
But if you're looking to send garrisons, that implies to me that you're not planning to prosecute the Second Punic War. And I don't know. I mean, it would be worth running the numbers, but even if you're able to send one additional garrison, even two, that's not going to be enough, and it's still ended in a defeat as far as I'm aware. But yeah, worth running the numbers. Let's double check in that part of the rulebook as well. But I'm pretty sure you can still send garrisons.
Can you recall garrisons?
Yeah, so that would be the same answer. So if you can send garrisons, you could definitely recall them.
All right.
So let's pull that up while we have a look. So
If we were to prosecute the war, does it imply that the war is prosecuted in that province, and therefore we can add the strength from that province to the army?
no, so it's the wars are fought separately. So in the same way that if you sent two forces against a single war card, you only fight one war at a time. And in this case here, if you send a Senate army against that the Second Punic War, then the governor will have nothing to do with it. Neither will his forces.
Righto.
So if somebody has to die, who will it be?
So it sounds like you've all made the decision that you guys are not going to prosecute the Second Punic War.
It depends on our strategy. So,
That's right.
What's our strategy? So let's talk about that and then come back to it.
So our current troops, are they committed to the Macedonian War from where they were at before?
Only if you leave them there.
Yeah,
But
we
we could
should
move
be
them.
able to recall both
That's
our
right.
forces as well as the commander.
Okay, so the commander and the troops are currently, 15 and 5, and the Punic War's 22 and 5.
So, are we able to send the Dictator and Master of Horse to back up Flaminius then? Who's
No, you'd
currently
have
at
to
war?
withdraw Flaminius.
Okay, so good. Okay, yep.
So it seems to me that one strategy, I don't want to say it's the best, is to attack the Punic War so we protect that province, but recall Flaminius and his army, and then try to bulk it up and send it with the Dictator and the Master of Horse.
I think the main issue is that we only have 48 talents in the treasury, so
So what's that? 4 legions.
4 legions, and we're going to be dreadfully broke. That I don't think there's much chance of us.
Withdrawn.
Yeah, we're already 6 legions. We're 7 legions short of fighting the Punic War.
Yes, that's just.
That's just to get even. That's not.
But that doesn't include the Master of Horse and the Dictator's strength.
Yeah, which will be a +8.
Plus 8. Okay, so that would be 19 against 22. So we're still 3 short of being even.
And of course, we've got the bad omen to be aware of.
True. Don't forget the bad omen.
What is the price of a single man for the protection of the Republic?
The House of Julii, since it's been corrupt-free for so long, is deciding to go completely the other way. To be guaranteed mining rights and harbour fee rights this coming year from the sandpit, they would put forward
Aurelius.
because
Yes.
Fulvius can't go because he's too
Always.
old.
Yeah, and always the better choice.
And,
Aurelius is just a baby, and he's got that hair that might scare Hannibal off.
So, who gives out the concessions? I can't remember. Do I
You,
just do it?
the dictator.
I just appoint them. There's no
Yes.
vote or anything. Okay, perfect. Well, as
So
dictator,
Aurelius,
perfectly. I'll make that deal.
So
sorry, Aurelius.
I'm just reading through Rule 2.02.4, which is on provincial wars, and it definitely talks about being unable to raise additional provincial forces, but it makes no reference to garrisons. And in the previous rule under, I think it's Rule 2.02.31, it just talks about being able to raise and rescind garrisons at will. Now, very much like an other war card, and a prime example right now is that of the Macedonian War. You guys can, even though that was a defeat, right, and it's being attacked and whatever's going on there, you can still withdraw those forces and send a new commander. Same case for the province, and that's the way I'm going to run it for now. So if you guys should choose to either withdraw a garrison or add garrisons to the province under attack, then that's not a problem.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess
Getting back to the sacrifice, I think I think Lucius' offer is a fair one.
yes, I was thinking Aurelius, simply as that would have been a nice balance. So I guess since he's agreed to it, and
I'm not sure if Aurelius has, but
he doesn't know the province is under attack.
There are cases in Germany. I used to live in Germany, and there's been a few cases in Germany of that.
Yeah. Well, Aurelius' father did absolutely nothing for the House of Julii, so his son is being chosen to do something. All right. So in exchange for mining and harbour fees, we will send Julius up there to do his best.
Okay, perfect. So
Because I think we're going to
Can we give him a parade? Can we give him a medal? Can we make a medal just for him?
Sign off,
sacrificial lamb medal.
Power.
Yeah.
We
Dress him
can. That's a great idea, and this is what I love. If you guys decide to invent a new medal for like ultimate bravery and sacrifice, we will make a new medal and we will get it out there, right?
But we'll just call it bravery at the moment until he's on his way.
Yeah, true.
Could it be called a dunce cap?
It won't fit on his head.
All right, let's see.
Okay, well, I guess we'll get. Oh, well, we got to send him before we do that, right?
True.
Yes.
We'll posthumously award him one.
I feel like I'm assassinating my own senator.
Prehumously.
Yeah, you're assassinating your own senator. Yeah.
Okay, so under those conditions, I move that we appoint Aurelius of the House of Julii as governor of Gaul. As such, I will start with the Eurdite faction. How would you like to vote?
11 votes for.
Oh, House of Incognita.
8 votes for.
Thank you. Fortuna's Despair.
8 votes for.
It's for House of Julii.
14 votes for.
We would have let you vote against it just for.
Yeah. Or abstain at least.
We're going to send him. We're
Committed.
proud. We're proud.
Justitia Marita.
3 votes for.
Thank you. And Pre-Byzantium are 4 votes in favour of the proposal. So Scriber, when ready?
48 for.
48 for. All right. Motion is passed. So Aurelius, God send.
All right. There he goes.
Godspeed.
He's done something his father hasn't done.
Something.
Something. I mean, who knows?
You never know.
The dice are strange things, but at the very least, maybe if he rolls like an 18 and he can get, maybe he might be able to smidge out a stalemate, which would be awesome. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, the governor has been deployed.
Maybe his family could get 1% of the gross royalties from future Hollywood movies.
There you go. Now, don't forget to update your faction vote tally now, House of Julii, now that you've got another senator away from Rome there.
He had 3. Rightio.
Okay, so what's next?
I'll remind the dictator that standing orders is to have the field consul to update the Senate on the current affairs of Rome.
Perfect. All right. I guess that's a good suggestion. So I believe it's Furious. If you would like to give a briefing to the Senate when possible, please.
The Rome finds itself in dire straits, my fellow senators. Grim tides afflict us all, and it is a dark day. The good news is that it is always darkest before the dawn. So with our trust invested in Junius, Fabius, and Furious, we will soon, I think, see the dawning of the light, and a new day shall come. So the wars, there's 3 of them: Macedonians, the Carthaginians, and an unprosecuted war in the Syrians. The enemies are at the gates. In fact, the northern gates we can expect to be kicked in anytime soon. But thankfully, we have a hero that has taken the reins up there and will do his best to hold back the tide. Financially, we are similarly poor. However, there is the promise of future wealth, and the home provinces remain productive and will soon commence handing out their spoils to the Senate, which I hope will be dedicated to Rome's future, and that will do.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the update. So, as such, I guess we'll move on to the discussion of our current situation. So, as we previously discussed, it seems the Punic War is out of the question. Does everyone agree to that, or any dissenting opinions?
We could probably have just a quick run of numbers. Probably an easy suggestion would be we recall the 1 garrison that we do have deployed to Gaul to help bolster our forces. So with that assumption, we have an additional force to our, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
point of interest,
12,
if I may, Senators.
Yes.
Thank you there, Dictator. So also bear in mind, so if the governor is forced to fight that war and suffers a defeat, note that that province and any remaining forces will join the Second Punic War card as well and add to that strength. Now, that's not much, but I just want you to be aware of that as well.
So those 2 provincial legions, you mean?
Right, so assuming they're not killed off in the onslaught, so assuming, let's just say they survive, which I doubt, but, considering the role... but at the very least, the province is going to add 1? It's only got a strength of 1 anyway, so maybe my point is somewhat mute, but just note it'll add an additional 1 to the strength of that war, the Second Punic War, should a defeat be suffered.
Thank you, and noted. So I guess, Marcus, to that point, did you have any more math you wanted to point out?
I'll just go through it again. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 land strength we could field currently. Looking at our current state treasury, I believe it was 48. So let's say we raise an additional 4, so that would be an 18. Given the strength of the Dictator and Master of Horse, given an 8 onto the 18, so that would be 26. Looking at the forces of Hannibal in the Second Punic War, which will be our 22, so that would be a 4. We would have a 4 plus.
Don't forget the negative 1.
Correct. So a 3 plus to our roll, which isn't fantastic.
So when you say 14 for us, are you including 1 from Gaul,
yes.
right? Yeah, okay.
Correct.
So we'd need a decent roll just to avoid defeat. Is a possibility? Plus
yes.
the whole number of stalemate rolls, which I think the stalemate rolls are largely the same as the disaster and stalemate rolls anyway, aren't they?
No, disaster is always half. Like, disaster's worse than what a defeat is. Disaster is the worst.
I realise that, but just looking at the disaster numbers 9 and 10, so they're problems anyway. Apart from the combat results table.
Yeah.
We can do it.
I think based on the math, that's just completely out of the question, because if we were to lose, we'd be put ourselves in a pretty dire situation.
We basically game over. I think we lost.
Yeah, and we would only gain 25 talents anyway, so it's not going to set us up well for the next turn. So I guess under those conditions, we should discuss whether we would like to prosecute the Macedonian War or the Syrian War. My loose view is that perhaps the Syrian War is maybe a better battle. simply because it has, it require less forces from us. And again, we're pretty low in the treasury, so if we were to lose the Macedonian War again, probably pretty disastrous for us. So perhaps the Syrian War is a nice safe bet for us.
Well, let's go through the same numbers we were discussing before. We can field a maximum land strength of 26. So if we were going against the Macedonian War, we would have a plus 10. So I believe that is, well, plus 9. Sorry, we'll continue
Minus
to
1,
include the omens. So
True.
So minimum roll is a 3 plus the 9 would give us a 13. So only if we roll a 3 would we not have a win, excluding the obvious disaster and stalemate numbers themselves. That's probably a way to maximize the forces that are already raised.
It's a good. I don't disagree. Does anyone have any counter proposal or dissenting opinions on that?
No, I would agree with that.
I think the only dissenting option is if we did go against the Syrian War and that we did lose it, even with a disaster where we halved our forces again, we would still have the required fleets to prosecute the war. That would probably be the only other thing to discuss.
So the two possibilities of the Macedonians or the Syrians, there's no advantage of going one over the other, and we are more likely to win the Syrians. So that seems pretty clear.
But we also have enough troops to win the current Macedonian and fleets, which we have to win, because if we lost the Syrian, or even stalemated the Syrian, we'd still have the Macedonian there.
The Syrian would still be classed as prosecuted, where if we were to lose the Macedonian, then it would be also classed as unprosecuted. We have 3 unprosecuted wars.
The only other thing to note as well is obviously the standoff numbers for the Macedonian War shares the 14, which I believe when we fought last time was a consideration that there is just one less number.
That is true.
Which is relevant.
We had a discussion with the current Living Rules editor about whether a standoff number that also existed on a hero card or an enemy leader card could be nullified based on a commander who was nullifying the war card, and that's simply not the case. So it only nullifies the war card. So if the enemy leader has that same number, then that number is still a danger number for you.
Yeah, we accept that. I think it just reduces the set of dangerous numbers.
Yeah.
Yes, so we don't have a leader currently for that. It's
Sure.
just simply that the 14 doubles up. So unlike the Syrian War, there's more numbers.
Yeah, it's 3
which is
valid.
Yep.
It's probably also worth knowing as we know with the standard distribution of what a 3-roll dice are. 16 and 17s are fairly rare to roll. That might be something worth to consider. 13, 14 seem to roll quite common for us.
Yes, I think it's right in the middle. It's almost fairly common.
So the Syrian War, we don't lose with any roll if we would raise the maximum force. And then we're only looking at a 14, which is shared, a 15, which is shared between both wars. Then there's only a 16 and a 17 versus a 13.
Which are quite rare. So perhaps it is better to fight the Syrian War then.
Keep in mind, we still have another 4 attempts, not including this one, at the war.
It's just simply the treasury, I think, is the main thing. We're losing
rebuilding our force will be, not impossible, but
So,
I think it's also worth noting that the 13, which we're considering, is a disaster, where the 16 and a 17, one is a disaster and one is a stalemate. The standoff is considerably not as big of a deal compared. I think the trade-offs are close, but I think I would lean towards the Syrian being a better chance for us. And even in the worst case scenario, it would maintain being prosecuted in the worst case scenario, which I think is very valuable for us.
Because of the fleets.
Yeah, even if we were to lose half fleets, we would still be able to supply whatever troops is left and continue to bolster the defense of Rome.
Yeah, so I think I'm in agreement with that line of reasoning.
Yes.
So I guess, is everyone else just in a loose agreement? Again, no dissenting opinions on that.
I'm good with this.
It's almost like
Okay.
flip a talent.
But the first thing we need to do is raise the legions, right?
Yeah, so was that raising another 4, Marcus, from our treasury, or that was based on what we currently have?
That was based including raising, but perhaps we don't need to raise.
Yeah, they're 11.
Yeah, so
Yeah, so
perhaps,
I guess just do quick math.
Perhaps to make the math easier, at your discretion, Dictator, we could do a quick proposal to recall the 1 garrison from Gaul.
Yes, that was going to be my my next proposal. So
really hanging him out to dry.
Just make sure you don't pass him on the road.
yeah, exactly right.
Take a alternate trip.
One of the things that's unknown is Aurelius is actually an elephant whisperer. So
Can we please recall Aurelius from Gaul, and we'll send Quintius for his transgressions? No, but I will thank him for his kind thought of the Republic's operations. So I guess we shall move to recall that legion now, just to get that out of the way. So the proposal will be to recall the 22nd Legion from Gaul back to Rome. So I guess we'll start with the Eurdite faction. How would you like to vote?
11 votes in favour.
Thank you. House of Incognita.
8 votes in favour.
Thank you. Fortunatus Despair.
8 votes in favour.
Thank you. House of Julii.
14 votes.
11.
Oh, no, actually, I think it's just got lowered. With Heavy Heart, it is, I think I'm down to 11.
11. All right. Thank you. Justitia Marita.
3 votes for.
Thank you. And the pre-Bosnian team will offer 4 votes. So, Scriber, when you're ready, please.
45 in favour.
All right. Motion carries. So we will recall the 1 legion from Gaul. Would you like me to drag him back, or?
Already done that, Dictator?
Perfect. Thank you. You sent the missives already. Okay. So I guess then, Marcus, if you would just like to look at the maths of not raising any additional legions for prosecuting the Syrian war, whether that's feasible, please.
All right, so we currently would have a land force of 14. If we then plus our 8 of our Dictator and Master of Horse, that would be a 22 going up against the 11. So we would be at plus 11 for our roll, which I believe is 11 onto a minimum of 3 would be a 14, which would be a victory with 4 losses of legions and fleets, but it is a guaranteed win with no additional raises. If we raise 1, 2, 3, 4, which is all of our treasury, we would go to a guaranteed victory, no losses.
Are there any risks that come with that and the treasury getting so low?
Yeah.
Always.
Well, I think it's...
We gain 45 talents, but
Yes.
you also have to consider that this is the second war, which means we do gain provinces afterwards as well.
And we've got allied enthusiasm as well.
Correct.
But for a period of time, we would have 8 talents. Does that expose us to any risk that is not worth bearing?
No, I think we get the revenue before we would get the...
Yeah.
the cards. So
I'm not
Okay.
aware of any event that would cause us to lose anything before the revenue phase.
Okay, good.
Just another bad omens.
Well, I think that's the right approach because it just
Actually,
preserves
that
the
might
force.
be worth. Sorry, I believe I probably didn't add the bad omens. I think there is a chance if we roll the 3, then we would do a stalemate. Then perhaps to consider the bad omens, we raise just
2
we could-
perhaps.
or even just 1. So 1 would be the guaranteed victory.
So yeah.
The other option is we're probably going to have to continue to raise forces against other wars. We might as well do that process now.
Yeah, so there's a sort of a trade-off here. So one is that we raise the legions now and then take ourselves to a chance of rolling a 18 once modified and having no losses. But if we get a disaster, then we lose the additional 2 legions of the 4 we raise.
Correct.
Yet we could also not send those 2 legions and keep them at Rome, meaning they are fine.
But then there's no point raising them right now. Anyway.
Correct. Yeah. Then we would just raise them next turn.
Assuming there's no manpower shortages.
True.
That is worth considering.
So my vote's in favour of raising them now. And sending
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, I think I agree with that as well. I guess any other dissenting opinions?
Nope.
Devil's advocates? No? Everyone's happy? Yeah, perfect.
There's no assassinations this time.
All right, so I guess if we want to do it as one proposal in general.
I'd break it up.
Okay, break it up. Yeah,
Make it clear.
Actually, okay, I'll do it first. So how many legions was it? Was it 2? Just the 1? 4?
4,
4?
I believe.
Perfect. All right, so I move that we raise 4 legions, just in general. So Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
11 votes for.
Thank you. House of Incognita.
I'll put 8 votes for.
Thank you. Fortuna to Spare.
8 votes for.
Thank you. House of Julii.
11 votes for.
11 votes for. Thank you. Justitia Marita.
3 votes for.
3 votes for. Thank you. And Pre-Byzantium, we have 4 votes to the proposal. Okay. Scriber.
45 in favour.
Perfect. Okay. Motion carries. So I guess if someone, maybe Marcus, if you'd like to raise the 4 legions for us, please.
Certainly.
Okay, so as Decimus put in the chat, we did discuss before talking about creating a medal for poor Aurelius, who is going to meet his demise soon. So I guess that's a good proposal. Obviously, he's sacrificing his life for the Roman Republic. That should be awarded. So I guess, does anyone in the Senate have a good name for the medal?
So let me change everyone's view just temporarily, so you can see what the current top medals are that are currently a part of the system that you guys have already implemented here. So there's 2 bravery awards, 2 courage awards, and 2 conspicuous service awards. So I guess you're looking for a medal that I guess doesn't match any of these names. I guess is a good starting point. And the other thing you'll need to articulate in your proposal is, the conditions of issue. Now that could be, it could be a minor proposal in the Senate. If the Senate collectively agrees to issue this medal, then that could be the precondition, and therefore there's no other prerequisites other than that what the Senate votes. But that's up to you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to show you this first before you go into the design and thought of your new medal.
I mean, we could word it something along the lines of going into battle against overwhelming odds or something like that.
So I had the mind of the Lamb of Sacrifice or something like that. For facing, facing unconquerable odds. But again,
I don't think the Romans had
Professional bravery.
unconquerable, did they? I don't think it was a word in their vocabulary.
it's probably true.
We'll say overwhelming.
I believe if we want to try to quantify that feeling of overwhelming overwhelming odds. I believe if the forces, including your military rating, is less than what the enemy's land strength is, then they could only be sent. They cannot be sent against their will.
True.
So perhaps that would be a good signifier that if they were to go willing under those conditions,
a negative strength modifier. Yeah.
I'd say that is a pretty good name. Quintus suggested the Medal of Sacrificial Bravery. So I mean, if nobody else,
the Lamb to the Slaughter.
Lamb to the Slaughter.
It was actually chickens they slaughtered before battle, but that's okay.
Chicken to the Sacrificial Brave Slaughter.
For those that have played Fable, there could be the Chicken Chaser medal.
What about the Pawn?
That could be misconstrued.
P-A-W-N. I just know in chess that you sacrifice them a lot.
He's heard all about those Gaul women. So
or the naked Gaul men warriors. I don't know.
Listening to Tiberius Cornelius's suggestion, I think that the Pawn of with a W, the Pawn of Sacrificial Bravery is a fantastic name. So I think that I'm going to move. I will move that we vote on that. So Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
11 votes in favour.
11 votes in favour, thank you. House of Incognita.
I'm going to put 8 abstaining this.
8 abstaining. Fair enough. Fortuna's
Doesn't like Pawn. That's very interesting.
Fortuna's Despair.
8 in favour.
Thank you. House of Julii.
Proudly has 11-4.
11-4. Justitia Marita.
3 votes for the proposal.
3 votes for. And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes for.
That's 37 in favour, 8 against. So it's carried.
Okay, so the Pawn, I wrote it in the chat so I don't forget, I guess.
Good. And I've taken notes as well. That's obviously some homework for me to put one together.
Okay, perfect. Put that in the chat. And I guess just as that was for the creation of the medal. So as a secondary proposal, I move that we award, I guess prehumorously, as Tiberius said before, award that medal to Aurelius of the House of Julii for his courageous departure against, I think it was Hannibal. All right. So, Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
11 votes in favour.
Thank you very much. House of Julii. House of Incognita.
8 votes for.
8 votes for. Thank you. Fortuna's Despair.
8 votes in favour.
Thank you very much. House of Julii.
11 votes in favour.
11 votes in favour. Thank you. Justitia Marita.
3 votes in favour.
Thank you. And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour.
It's 45 in favour and 0 against, so it's carried.
Perfect. All right. So I guess we shall have a small delay on that medal being crafted by our blacksmiths. So once it is completed, we shall award it to him.
Any thoughts on how you might want this medal to look?
Yes, personally, this is a personal opinion. I think a nice white medal, perhaps with a red stripe or maybe a red and a pink stripe, would be nice.
Could be a pawn split in half.
That's pretty good. Maybe
made out of fool's gold.
Yeah.
Gold.
An image of a pawn, a classic image of a pawn. Yeah,
Pawn with a
shrunken
W.
little chess figure.
Standing
What about like a pawn star or something? You know, on a white background.
Yeah, like pawn on a star. Pawn on a star.
Yeah, gotcha.
What about the host from that TV show, Pawn Stars?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
All right.
So I'll see what I can do.
We'll
I've got a week to forge something.
We'll trust the skilled craftsman of Rome to come up with a good design. Okay, so I guess, do we have any other proposals, any suggestions before I guess we do the final votes to go to war?
If we were going to go to war, perhaps we recall the
yes.
current. Yes.
Mhm. Yes, perfect.
Are we going to elect some priests to say some prayers? I would like, perhaps.
We got a pontifex. I always forget what step are the priests appointed in.
They can. The pontifex can do that at any time he likes in the Senate.
I'd like to put forward Aelius to become a priest, and so that I will be able to say some prayers, because I feel that this is really important part of the ritual.
Well, Quintius, you are the Pontifex Maximus, so I will yield the floor if you would like to appoint any priests.
Certainly. I've also been crafting a prayer to help guide Rome. So before I do elect the priest, I would also like to take this great opportunity to read forth a prayer.
Certainly.
Noble Jupiter, or whatever name it is you may prefer, god or goddesses of great victory of Rome, I pray to you, I do you reverence. I ask your grace and favor that you may bring swift victory to the forces we send. May you know the sincerity of my request, and by this sacrifice that I offer, may it find favor with you.
Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Those touching words.
That's a Christian remark at the end there, folks. Not a.
What's the Roman version?
I don't think they had one. and whatever it is, would have been in
Christians for a bit, and then obviously they changed again.
So in the early Republic, Christianity didn't exist yet. So
we're proto-Christians. We're Platonists.
Yeah.
Dictator, I would like to point out the state treasury is not updated, and we still need to give out our concession cards to people.
Perfect. All right. So
and just on priests, what's the benefit of a priest again? Sorry, I have to ask this.
Just get one extra vote on the going to war.
A battle vote.
Yeah. Sending and recalling of forces and commanders, if I recall.
Thank you.
And on these concessions, can I appoint them now?
Yes.
Concessions are not appointed; they're proposed as a proposal and voted on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess as one proposal start, we did mention that the House of Julii, in sending Aurelius off to Gaul, that he would be granted both the harbour fees and mining, I believe it was.
Correct.
So I guess I shall move that we grant those two proposals to the House of Julii, that he can then appoint to whomever he wants. So Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
I have 11 votes for.
11 votes for, thank you. House of Incognita?
8 votes for.
8 votes for. Fortunatus Despair?
8 grateful votes for the sacrifice.
Thank you. House of Julii?
11 votes for.
Thank you. Justitia Marita?
3 votes for.
Thank you. And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour.
Blood money.
45 in favour.
All right. Excellent. So,
if I could just jump in there, if I may, we need to acknowledge Gaius Sempronius Skepsis Agricola, provincial quaestor and quaestor of Nova Roma, who has just gifted 23 subs to the channel, which is a huge donation, which is absolutely amazing. A long-time supporter of this channel, and he continues to do so with absolute glee. So congratulations to all those who have now received a sub, courtesy of Sempronius13 in chat. So thank him when you get the opportunity. Thanks, Senators.
Perfect. We've got the blessings of Agricola on our side, so I'm sure our battles are going to go well.
I'd just like to recognise that he granted the subs in spite of the rather childish sort of comments around porn/porn. So good on him.
Jeez, yeah. Thank you very much, Agricola. Okay, so the motion was carried. So House of Julii, if you want to grab the harbour fees and mining and point them as you wish. Okay, so we have a few other concessions here. So I think in terms of balancing out Rome, I'm not going to ask for suggestions. I'm simply going to propose which factions I believe should get this to adequate balance. So I believe that Tax Farmer 4, I propose, is given to the Eurdite faction to appoint to whoever they want. So Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
Gratefully received. 11 votes for.
11 votes for. House of Incognita.
Since they decided they'd like to be a bit preemptive about receiving it, 8 votes against.
8 votes against, no worries. Fortunatus Despair.
8 votes in favour.
House of Julii.
11 votes in favour.
11 votes in favour, thank you. Justitia Marita.
3 votes in favour.
Thank you. And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour.
So that's
Alright.
37 to 8. The matter passes.
Okay, so if you would like to go for Tax Farmer 4 marker and assign that as you wish. Okay, so just give me a second to have a look around. We've got 2 left. So for the next one, I would like to give, I propose that we give Tax Farmer 2 to Justitia Marita to give to whichever senator you want. Oh, you can put them on someone who's away from Rome. Yes? Okay, so to whomever he wants. So Marker, how would you like to vote?
11 votes for.
11 votes for. House of Incognita.
8 votes for.
8 votes for. Fortunatus Despair.
8 votes for.
Thank you. House of Julii.
11 votes for.
Thank you. Justitia Marita.
3 votes for.
3 votes for. And Pre-Byzantium. 4 votes for. All right. Scrubber.
So 45. It's unanimous.
Okay, perfect. So markers, please take Tax Farmer 2. And the last one is Sicilian Grain. I think that it would be a bit presumptive to award it to myself. So
Would it?
well, I did just seize the dictatorship before, so I believe that, in terms of making sure that people know that I'm not that corrupt.
I reckon Sempronius Agricola approves. He's just hit 30 subs in the channel.
Oh, jeez. Wow.
Wow.
Trying to go for the number 1.
He is. He's going for the number 1 spot.
Can I award him the Sicilian Grain concession?
Honorary Sicilian Grain concession. I think you'd like that.
Yeah. Okay. But in terms of fairness, I think that I will move to give the Sicilian Grain to Fortunatus Despair. So Eurdite, how would you like to vote?
11 votes for.
Votes for. House of Incognita.
8 votes for.
8 votes for. Fortunatus Despair.
8 votes for.
House of Julii.
11 in favour.
And Justitia Marita.
3 votes in favour.
And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour. Scriber.
45-0. It's carried.
Okay, so please feel free to grab your Sicilian Grain then, Tiberius.
Masterfully done, the dictator. Nice and smooth.
That's all right. Balancing out Rome. Hopefully everyone will reward me with some kickbacks for my fairness. Okay, so I also see we have a few medals here to award. So can I do that now, Decmus? Yes.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we've got 2 medals here for Flaminius, ID number 13, for service in the Second Macedonian War. The first medal is the Medal of Scutum for surviving 8 or more death draws accumulatively. The second is the Macedonian Campaign Medal for service in the Macedonian Wars. So these will be going to, who was it? Flaminius of the House of Incognita. So I'll drag them over to you to award them correctly. So
Thank you very much.
congratulations. Yes. We at the Senate are very impressed by your dedication to keeping the forces alive, even in a rout. That is very impressive. And we thank you for doing our soldiers proud. So thank you very much, Flaminius.
It's not often a senator actually gets to be awarded a Medal of Scutum alive. That's quite good.
Very true.
Yeah, after the
It's good
17
taste
death
to die, isn't it?
Certainly.
He
Okay.
hid well.
Wow.
Yeah, he was in the bushes.
He's not like
as
his father.
oh, that's true. Yes, we must say that Flaminius' father was executed for treason. So Flaminius the Younger's, heroic efforts on the part of Rome, I think, have made up for his father's scheming. So, perfect. Thank you very much, Flaminius.
Yeah, and if they don't, then watch out because we'll just execute him as well.
two Flaminiuses on heads on the pikes. Okay, so back to business of war. I believe that our next proposal would be to now recall Flaminius, who is currently still away at the Macedonian War, so that we can fight the Syrian. So, is there?
And that's Flaminius and his army.
Yes. Sorry, apologies. Yes, Flaminius and all the forces with him will return to Rome. No dissenting opinions on this? No? Okay, so a call to vote. Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
11 votes for.
11 votes for. House of Incognita?
8 votes for.
Thank you. Fortuna's Despair?
8 votes in favour.
House of Julii?
11 votes in favour.
Thank you. Justitia Marita?
6 votes in favour.
And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour. So scroll.
So it's 48.
Okay, so motion is carried. I shall. Is somebody already doing that? No.
Yeah, if you guys bring your forces back, I'm just putting the commander cards away. So Flaminius is now considered back in Rome.
I shall update my vote tally.
Please do. Yes, good.
Had we? I'm sorry, I might have missed this. Had we recalled the garrison from Gaul?
Yes, we did that
already.
just before.
Right.
So I'm just quickly adjusting these forces. So I don't believe there's anything much else to discuss. Does anyone else have anything to add before I guess we move to voting on war? No other proposals, any business, anything they wish to add?
Nope.
No? All right. So under those circumstances, Marcus, could you just give us a quick count of how many forces we will be sending from our active forces before I make this proposal, please?
Sure. I believe we're still missing some forces from our active. I can drag down.
Yeah, there's 3 ships and a legion still up there. Yep.
I'll drag that down.
I cannot see them.
I already dragged him down. Don't worry.
I can't see them at all. Are they in
No,
the
he's
active
already
force box?
moved them. He's already moved them.
Yeah. Yep.
They're in there. How many fleets do we have there?
We have 5.
Oh, I can only see 3. Two, sorry.
I'll just arrange our forces so it's just a little bit easier to have a look so we can continue to discuss.
Yep.
Start a new report.
So yeah, just in a second, if you could just read out the total forces that we will be sending, just so we can mark that down for the proposal, please.
All right, so it looks like we'll be sending a total of 5 fleets, as well as 14 regular legions and 2 veteran legions.
Okay. So, based on that, I propose that we send Fabius, the current dictator, along with Aemilius, the master of horse, and 14 regular legions, 2 veteran legions, and the 5 fleets to prosecute the Syrian war. So, Eurdite faction, how would you like to vote?
Just a reminder to all those priests, you get your extra vote.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I didn't hear. That was full. Thank you.
I'm
House
a
of
priest. I get 12. 12 votes for. 12.
Scriber, please update the vote tally. So House of Incognita.
10 votes for.
Fortuna's Despair.
8 votes in favour.
Thank you. The House of Julii.
12 votes in favour.
Justita Marita.
6 votes in favour.
And Pre-Byzantium, 4 votes in favour.
So a total of 50 votes in favour for a resounding favourable vote.
50 votes. Okay, so as such, I believe that the Senate is closed. The dictator's gone to war.
That it is.
Well run, Senate. Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Woo.
Thank you, everyone. Now let's win some wars.
Yeah,
All right. Somebody will deploy the forces first into the active wars box.
I'll just be right back before we go to war.
You're right. No rush.
Me too.
Nice.
Maybe let's have a break.
All right, that sounds like a good idea. Let's all take a pause for 5 minutes so we can refresh our beverages, stretch our legs. That's a great idea. Might as well. So everybody in chat, don't go away. Watch a commercial or two with us. We'll be right back. Give our senators a quick break before we get into the combat action. So stick around. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, we are back after a short recess there. We just had to allow our senators to do their yoga stretches and put on their gladius onto their beltius and pick up their scutum and their pila ready for battle. We are now entering into the combat phase where we're seeing Dictator Fabius and his Master of Horse Aelius march in against the Syrian war, perhaps chosen as the one of a higher probability of success. And it's certainly a success that the senators need right now in order to maintain good footing going forward. So they've got a strong force here. I'm looking forward to this, and they have a good number of support fleets. So if they lose a few, and if they happen to still lose or not get a victory rather, then the war will still be considered prosecuted, which is nice for numbers' sake. So let's do what we normally do. Let's get some numbers first, and let's see what we're dealing with. First of all, can I have the total strength of the military forces, not including the commanders, please?
I believe it was 14 regular and 2, so that's 2 lead.
18.
18, yep.
Okay, we have a strength of 18, which includes legions and veterans. Now, what is the strength of both of our commanders combined?
8.
8. Very good. And so 18 plus 8 gives us a total of
26.
26. Very good. All right, now let's talk about the enemy forces. What is their total strength, including enemy leaders?
11.
11. Very good. So that will give us a margin of 15. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So let's also note that we'll have a -1 due to the bad omens roll. So that will give us a strength difference of 14 in the end, right? When we roll our 3d6. So 3d6 plus 14, that should be pretty good in my opinion, unless you're rolling like 1s and 2s, but even then I think you're still guaranteed yourselves a victory. Is that correct?
I think I would prefer to roll a 1 and a 2.
Yes, in this case you guys would. So you want to avoid 14, 15, 16 and 17 are your danger numbers there. Now I am going to change the view for the benefit of myself and the viewers at home down to the combat results table here. Zooming in, and as we can see, the loss column, the result column in the middle, you guys are obviously aiming for victory, and then we're running off the numbers on the left there. So again, I give the usual choice to the commander. Commander, I think it's the dictator there. Do you wish to use the roll 20 dice, or would you like me to roll manually here?
If I would just like to ask the Senate if they've got any suggestions or any preferences, I guess, before I make a decision in this monumentous battle.
I think it's the burden of leadership.
This is on you.
Maybe just run a few test rolls first.
Let's go physical, Decimus, please.
Physical. All right. So pretty much you guys want to roll anything but those disaster and standoff numbers, right?
Yep.
This is where he's not
all
going
right,
to show
now I'm
us
going to
the
pick up
dice.
3d6. So I'm going to show you the dice here on screen for those that can see it. So I've got some physical dice here. They're just standard, you know, I've got standard 3d6 here, 6-sided dice. They're not weighted. There's nothing special about them. They're just off my
So he
bookshelf.
says.
They're
So
all
he
weighted
says.
on the 6.
They're just
All
standard
weighted-
weighted dice.
All weighted, yes, standard weighted dice, all weighted towards disaster numbers. You know.
Yeah, it's all weighted to 14.
All right. Okay, so here we go. Fighting the Syrian War, Dictator and Master of Force. Any final words, Dictator, before I determine the outcome of this battle for you?
Long live Rome.
Everything
Long-
rides on this.
Long live Rome. Here we go. Rolling. Okay. How do you feel about R8?
Yes.
Good.
Really good.
Yes.
That would be a
Yes.
victory, no loss.
What was the composition of the 8?
Yes.
Hang on.
Yes.
Hang on. I move one of the dice.
Cheers.
I think, did I record it? Maybe I can record it back and I can send you the video. There you go.
Bros.
Okay, an 8. Normally that wouldn't be a good roll, but because you had such a strength, a great strength difference, it would have been actually interesting to see what the roll 20 did. Can we do a roll 20 3d6 and see what roll 20 would have given you?
Can do.
It's given a 14.
A 16.
16.
It would have been a disaster.
Yeah, wow. So
All right.
maybe that was a good choice.
That's called wise leadership, everyone.
Yeah.
Well done, Dictator.
Well done,
Thank you.
Dictator.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's scroll back. I'm going to scroll back up to the wars rule, and again, we're just going to step through slowly. Now, a lot of this is articulated on your cheat sheet as well in the combat phase section. So, first of all, we've got no losses, so the commander will not have to pull out any death chits here, which is always great news. It's always lovely. Let's do the first thing there, which is to reduce the unrest level by 1, because that's what a victory gets to do for us. So if we could kindly have Dictator, if you want to appoint yourself or somebody else to reduce our unrest level by 1 to begin with.
I'm doing that now.
Okay. Now, the victorious commander increases both his popularity and influence by half, fractions rounded up, of the applicable unmodified printed land strength. So in this case here, because the enemy leader was increasing the land strength, so we have a total of 11, so half that, we could take that as 10, which is 5, which is rounded up, so 6. So he gets to increase his popularity in influence by 6. Does anybody else disagree with that?
Master of Force should get 3.
Yeah, he certainly wishes. So we'll give the Dictator a moment to also update his influence and popularity by 6.
Oh, my influence as well. Perfect.
Yep, it's both popularity and influence.
We know who to assassinate next.
I
Now
would just
I
like to
need
say that he's trying to kill a war hero here, guys. This is
Who
foul
said I'm
behaviour.
going to be doing it?
Smoke
I'll
hasn't
just-
even been cleared from the battlefield yet.
Yeah,
Cheap
that's
policy.
right.
Oh
I
no,
went to
he
leave
died.
my
Now I'll tell you which one
Force
goes
behind.
veteran. Stand by. Let me roll another manual die here. Is there a 20th Legion on the board? Yes, there is. The 20th Legion becomes veteran. So if somebody wants to change him out,
Is someone doing that, or should I do it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, thank you.
Just don't mind me walking behind the Dictator with a knife.
Oh, I've got the knife.
Oi,
you do too. That's a
Yeah.
lovely Pugio. Look at that.
I hope that Mark has got my back.
There was there was often, how many was there? At least 20 of those in Caesar at one point.
I thought it was like 30, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, probably it was quite a few.
Let me check.
It's my knife lender.
All right, and now this,
20.
I'm pretty sure there's no other Syrian wars to speak of. So both those cards are going to end up in the ditch. But before we throw these to the oblivion of the discard pile, can somebody increase the state treasury by 45?
Oh yeah, 53 total.
Awesome.
Saves us from your batternums.
Unfortunately, it doesn't give you a province yet. That's unfortunate, but at least the money's good. All right, so I'm going to pull
Can
those
we,
war cards
can
down.
we do what the Germans did in 1917 and put the army on the trains and go back to the Western Front and fight the puny cause?
When we invent trains, when we invent trains,
right.
we'll consider that. Yeah, bring that to the front.
Just
And
lash a few elephants.
I believe the dictator should be proposing trains in the next Senate phase.
I'll ask blacksmiths to.
I'm a great blacksmith, but I don't know whether I can build a train.
Well, the Greeks had a primitive steam engine. They just never scaled it up. So perhaps we could send an emissary to Greece.
or a few legions.
We take that by force. Perfect.
All right.
Elephant train.
Let's have a look. So, thankfully, the evil omens didn't hurt us there, which is great news. The unrest levels decreased by 1. It's now at 4. State Treasury has been updated. Additional 45. Now it's sitting at 53. We have our dictator Fabius now at popularity 6 and influence 18, thanks to his glorious victory there. No death chit tokens were required to be drawn because we did not lose any units. Fabius only now needs to go to get himself a 20th Legion marker to put on his senator, Fabius there, to represent his new veteran allegiance to him, the 20th. If you'd also like to go grab that.
Done. Perfect.
Great. Very, very good. And that will conclude the combat phase at that point. So, before we move on...
Well done, everyone.
Well
Yes,
done.
thank you.
We need to... Well, we haven't quite concluded the combat phase. I suppose we need to do this next bit for Aurelius, right? Give him a good send-off and all that. So, let's have a look down, first of all, at the Second Punic War here. So, first of all, can somebody give me the strength of the Second Punic War in total, including Hannibal's details?
22.
22.
Oh.
15 plus 7. And let's go have a look at it now. What is the current total strength of Aurelius and his forces?
108.
4, sorry.
It is 4, and it's only 4 because the provincial legions count as half. So 2 for Aurelius, plus his 2 provincial legions is 3, plus the land strength of the province itself is 4. So 22 minus 4 gives us a strength difference of what, ladies and gentlemen?
18.
Minus 18. And with the bad omens roll, that will become minus 19.
I think he can do it.
So that would be pretty. That would be pretty tough. But let's go through the motions anyway, and let's see what happens. So
We just got to hope Hannibal rolls a disaster number.
yeah, that's our Hannibal rolls a disaster.
What's Aurelius's disaster and standoff numbers, guys? This game's fully designed.
Yeah, that's a good point. So what are the disaster and standoff numbers here?
All of them.
So it's 9, 10, 11, 15, and 16.
Well, those are the
Okay.
disasters. Could you please read off the standoff numbers now?
So the
Yeah, that's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
So hang on. So is it the case that if they roll that, if the Carthaginians roll those, then they get the same?
So the Carthaginians would not be rolling, so it's only ever the Senate that attacks here, unfortunately.
Okay.
Now, but I just thought of something here. So
I could roll a stalemate.
if he rolls a stalemate, he can live. So this is the first time you're wanting to roll these numbers.
Come on.
Wow. So this could be this is what you're hoping for. So you want to roll a 9, 10, 11, 15 or 16 if I'm not mistaken.
Before this is right,
11, 15, or 16.
can we have a quick prayer from the Pontifex Maximus?
Prayers and wine.
Yeah, good. Now even a disaster is still alright, is it not?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Because I mean,
Yeah.
what are you losing really anyway? Besides provincial forces there, but yeah,
Because then we'd roll death chits and he might survive, right?
yeah,
we have
that's
to
right.
roll like
Yeah,
one
yeah.
death
So
chip, or
so
two, I
ideally,
guess.
he wants to roll a 9, 10, 11, 15 or 16.
Hey, good luck. I mean, that's
All
a
right.
pretty
So
good odds on the distribution.
again, usual choice, Commander Aurelius. Would you like a roll 20 roll or a physical?
I think we'll stay with the winning ways tonight, and we'll let you roll for Rome.
Okay, 3d6 in my hand. Here we go. Wow, this is really good. I completely forgotten about stalemates and disasters. Okay, this is the first time I've seen somebody gun for these numbers.
Enough over.
Wow. Okay, here we go. Rolling in my hand. Okay, let's do some counting. Are you ready?
Mhm.
11.
Yeah, it's a standoff.
It's a standoff.
Wow.
Aurelius original.
It's those physical
amazing.
dice.
I told
That
you he was
is
the
a-
elephant whisperer.
What's that here?
Recall
That's
that man's medal. Recall it.
I think we need to give him a new medal, guys.
All right, so what is the requirements of a standoff? If somebody wants to read that.
Sure.
Now, I think, so while you're looking at that, I'll read out here as well from the advanced rules section. So, a stalemate or a standoff, a result or a stalemate or standoff is treated as no effect other than the loss of any called for provincial forces and the resulting mortality check for the governor. The war is still considered unprosecuted.
All right,
Yeah.
I'll read standoffs. We have the war/leader cards having the grey numbers following by the S is the standoff. The combat results table is ignored. Losses in a standoff is equal to 1/4 fractions rounded up of all participating Roman forces. The Roman commander remains in command unless recalled or killed.
So, in this case here, because the units are only worth half, I think they both get eliminated, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, if it's quarter rounded up.
Just be one, all right?
So there's one. There's essentially one force, and a quarter rounded up is one. So both the forces are going to get eliminated.
I don't believe, because you wouldn't count the military rating. Like we wouldn't say that because we've sent a dictator and a master of horse, we would lose more legions.
So, no. So he's got 2 provincial legions, and they're only worth half, which is a total of 1, and they have to be killed off in a particular fashion. So when you're taking, so when you look at the advanced rules, you've got to, you remove 2 to a 1. Now there's no garrisons to speak of here, but
Aren't they only worth half for a combat results table roll perspective rather than they still exist as
Yeah,
a
but
force.
it's rounded up. That's the problem.
Correct. So he's going to lose both the forces here. So they're going to disappear. Now the next issue is, does he draw 1 death chit or 2?
I think since we made that rule that it was worth half, it should be 1 then.
Yeah, because they're not worth a full strength legion. They're only worth half. So therefore, I can see only 1 chit being drawn. Now it'd come down to language in the rules, right? So does it talk about legion unit losses, or is there some other language that it uses in terms of when a death chit draw is required? Because there was 2 individual units here that were lost, regardless of whether they're provincial or not. Does he need to draw 2 death chits?
I'll read the wording.
Okay,
In
good.
any battle other than defeat, draw a number of mortality chits equal to the number of units lost.
There we go. So that to me tells me he needs to draw 2 death chits. So because there was 2 units that had to be removed then. So let's fingers crossed for Aurelius here. To see how he goes. Now you've got a button on the mortality button there, the roll table. Have you there, Aurelius? So nice and slow. What's your ID number? 9. We want to avoid drawing a number 9 here. So let's see how you go. First one is a 20. Oh, there's 2 there. 28. 20.
228.
228. Wow, that's amazing. Good job.
Jeez,
You survived.
We're lucky we used the physical dice, guys. What are the chances? 228.
That's great. So that war is going to remain where it is at the moment. There's going to remain a governor there, which is phenomenal. I was expecting a completely separate result there. You guys. Wow.
We lurch from week to week from disaster.
I think the thing is here, right? We swapped the dictator with the Pontifex Maximus, right? So it's got a good balance now.
Hey, all I was saying, we've actually had victories with the dictator. Whenever we've returned control back to the Senate, the thing just goes downhill.
Just that democracy,
all I'm
right?
saying is that we got all event cards practically last time. Don't jinx us.
All right.
Touching my wooden
Does
table.
this mean that Aurelius is sort of fighting a guerrilla campaign in Gaul now?
Essentially,
He's
yeah.
he's single-handedly blocking the path.
He is.
I just, as the dictator, I've just received his little red book.
To treat it to the mountain.
To deal with the
A
Punic
long
question.
march through the Alps.
He's currently trading ivory back to Rome.
Wow. All right. Let's talk about unprosecuted wars here. So active wars not dealt with become unprosecuted wars. And as we know, it's still considered unprosecuted here. So the Second Punic War become unprosecuted. So I'll move that down to that box. And the Second Macedonian is also considered unprosecuted. It'll also move down to that box as well. War exhaustion. If any war with a marker of 6 or over, which we don't have, so we don't need to worry about any of that. Now we can talk revolution phase. Now remember, we're going to do this in order. We hadn't done that last time. So first of all, we talk about voluntary retirement, which happens first off the bat. So we are going to do this based on the HRAO. Now, who is the current HRAO in Rome? It's the Rome Consul, pre-Byzantium. So it's really going to stay with the same faction here. And let's do the double checks to see if anybody's up for retirement. So coming in here, nobody in pre-Byzantium is up for retirement. Everyone's still quite young there. Let's go to the Eurdite faction here. There is somebody of age, 7 Julius, and I guess he could potentially be going to retirement. So the question to you, Mark, do you wish to retire anyone today?
Yes, I wish to retire Julius.
Very good.
He's getting old.
Let's go through the process. So we half the current influence on Julius, and then you will bank that. So that'll go from 22 to 11, if I'm not mistaken. And so you're going to now bank 11 influence there. So I've made a note of that, so we don't need to worry about that. So perhaps if Nemurius Aurelius can help you clear the tokens from Julius, so he'll lose all of his markers there. And we go... Yep, everything gets cleared off now. That's right. He gets an honourable retirement. Any final words from Julius before we kick him out the door?
Well, he'll be well known for many centuries afterwards.
That he will.
There we go.
All right, so so let's just double check our voluntary retirement rules. So from the Avalon Hill edition, this is rule 3.3.1. So here he had the greater than 20 influence requirement, which was one of the preconditions there. The senator must lose all counters except for faction leader, which he wasn't in this case, and talents, and he must return all attached cards to the forum. I don't think he had any there anyway. The player keeps any family card, which is what you're doing here. Yep, and we halved your influence. We did all that. Great. Perfect. So nothing else to do here. That's pretty simple. Pretty simple retirement. That's good. So you now have a new Julius. His son or grandson is now entered the Senate, and what we'll do is we'll tuck your medal down the front there to show your total your factions of medals for future. So see if the new Julius can win some medals of his own. Okay, let's go across to the House of Incognita. Anybody here up for voluntary retirement? No, I don't think anybody meets the influence requirement there. Fortuna's Despair, again, nobody's hitting the influence requirement there. And, Cato the Elder, no, he's not old enough anyway, but he's just one short of the retirement influence number of 20 House of Julii there. Finally, Justitia Merita, again, nobody of the influence value there. So there's voluntary retirements done. Next on the books. Intrigue play. So again, starting with pre-Byzantium and the Rome Consul, request or ask of you guys if you wish to play or trade any cards from your hand at this point in time, starting with you, Nemurius Aurelius.
Yes, I making a trade with Marcus Decimus.
Okay.
So I guess I'll put my card into Marcus's faction.
So Marcus will have to wait before he gives any cards away, of course, but he can certainly receive cards at this point in time.
Just give me 1 second.
You can just click and drag it.
You can.
Yeah, I'm just reading our messages to make sure that I do the correct thing.
Marcus Decimus, are you able to help me update my influence, please, with the little grey things?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you. Sorry.
And so what was I doing? I was trading and playing.
Yeah. Correct.
So I've traded. So that's it for me.
Okay, that was nice and clean and simple for you. Let's go across to the Eurdite faction. Marco Edia, any play or trades from you today, from your hand?
No, not today.
Not today. Cross to the House of Incognita. Play or trade, good sir?
No, there will not be today.
Not today. Down on the screen to Fortuna's Despair. Play or trade, good sir?
Neither, thank you.
Oh, nice and simple. Cross to the House of Julii. Play or trade today, good sir?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And then finally, just to Marita. I'm assuming there's a trade on the books for you?
That is correct. I'll be handing a card up to the pre-Byzantine.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. Any other cards you wanted to play at this point, Marticus Decimus?
No.
Okay, that is... Oh,
Would the pre-Byzantine be able to play a card now? Because I think the
no.
trade should be instantaneous, right? Because this would prevent him from playing a card.
yeah, correct. So you can only play or trade in the order that we go around. So he started that cycle there, but now that he's received a card, he can't play it this time.
Okay.
So he'll have to wait. So from here, I mean, unless Poached Trout comes in the chat and then we can do a retrospective. But as far as I'm concerned, because he's already had his turn, he won't be able to play any further cards at this point now that the trade has been concluded. In fact, Poached Trout asked a question. He goes, which wars are still active? Second Punic War with Hannibal and Macedonia with Philip V, correct? Yeah, that is correct, Poached Trout. That is correct. They are the wars on the deck still so far, with the Syrian War being defeated. Okay, nobody has over 5 cards, so we don't need to worry about discards at this point in time, and now we just need to make sure that the legions are coming back to Rome, so we do this as a formal procedure to the dictator. So we just want to double check, are you standing down your forces and not making any declarations of rebellion at this point in time?
I am going to rebel. No, I'm joking. No, I stand down. I humbly take off my weapons and I cross the Rubicon unarmed.
Good. That's lovely to hear. So if you'd like to go through and return the forces to the active forces box.
Can do.
I'm just going to confirm. I get to bank 11 of the influence, the half of it.
That is correct. I've made a note of that for you. Yes. Yep.
I need to
that
add
is
it
correct.
on to the thing.
No. So your faction vote tally tracker and I will only track the current influence of your current senators. All the bank stuff is kept in the background. So I mean, everybody kind of knows what's banked, but it becomes a bit of a secret, and it'll come out again at the last minute should the game end in a particular way.
Okay.
Can I take my away from Rome?
Yes, please do. Yep, take your away from Rome badge away. Yep, absolutely. I'll remove the commanders themselves from the active wars box and put them back in our little holding pen at the top here of the map. Oh, I'm just so impressed with Aurelius. I can't get over that. That's amazing.
He should be dictator.
If he survives and gets back, wow. He's up for some gongs and some.
There won't be enough space to put all his popularity on.
Have to come up with a few more medals.
Now, I think because also Aurelius lost forces, we need to consider popularity loss now that you've mentioned that.
True.
Because he did lose forces. So now, because he had to draw with 2 mortality trips, he's also lost 2 forces. So therefore, it's rounded. So if you have a look at the cheat sheet here, it talks about it. Land losses, the commander, regardless of the battle result, immediately loses 1 popularity for every 2 legions that are lost. So he's only going to lose, as far as I'm aware, he's going to lose -1 popularity. So if on Aurelius's card back in Rome, if you care to give him a -1 popularity from his current stats.
Okay.
For his 2 provincial legions that he lost. Yeah, it's funny. For the great work he did, it's getting minus popularity. Yeah.
That's from the families.
So Poached Trout's confirming for us he lost 2 provincial armies, which is all he had. It was a stalemate. Is that correct? Or a standoff? Which one was it, folks? 11?
Stalemate.
It was a stalemate. So he lost the 2 provincial forces. So it's all he had.
I propose that we vote that he's very popular. We'll pass that.
I'll confirm it was a standoff, not a stalemate.
A standoff, not a stalemate.
Roll, the combat table.
So, so to answer your question, Poached Trout, different only in the fact that they're worth half when there's not a garrison present, And so if there's a garrison was present, that would be worth full. But based on the language in the rules, it talks about specific units and units lost. And there was 2 units there, even though they're provincial forces, not necessarily a garrison or a full legion. So he drew 2 mortality chits, which he survived. And in this case here, he's lost 2 units. Now, the rules, now coming back to that nomenclature, we said, now this says for every 2 legions that are lost. Now, are legions provincial forces? That, you know, that begs the question, right? And that's something we can follow up post game. That's not a biggie. That's not going to hold us up here in the short term, particularly while he's away as governor. So we can follow that up as to whether the provincial forces results in a popularity loss. But I'm fairly certain it does in this case. But you know, we'll do that in our weekly wrap up. Okay, that is revolution phase done with no declarations of rebellion. That is end of turn. You guys have got a nice, comfortable number of war cards on the board. Nothing else weird going on. And just double checking now, we took into account the evil omens for the 3d6 roll, did we?
Yeah, it was always a win.
Yeah, we did. That's right. Yes, we did. Good. Perfect. Yeah, I can see my numbers here now. We did. I just want to double check we did that right as well. didn't do anything that we shouldn't have, so that's good. Okay, let's go do a mortality phase, folks. What do you reckon? How are we doing for time? We're doing pretty good. You want to do a mortality phase?
Yep.
Yeah, of course. Keep going.
Excellent for time.
We've still got some active forces in the active wars box.
We do. Can we finish pulling those down, folks? Let's
I
get
think
all
that
our
was-
forces back.
I think that was me. I can't see them. I'm just going to quickly reload, if that's all right with everyone.
Yeah, sure. All right, somebody's pulling them down for you now anyway. Good, we'll see him come back in just a minute. So while we're doing that, imminent war activation, we don't have any active or matching wars in the imminent area, so that's okay. War exhaustion. Let's perhaps ask Marcus Decimus if you could age all the wars by 1, please. So the Macedonian will go to 3, and the Second Punic War will get a number 1. Aging our wars there. And then everybody can now start on the aging of their senators. So you guys know the deal. If they've got a 0, they get a 1. If they've got a 2, they get a 3. If they've got a 7, they get an 8. You know the deal. Take your time. Make sure you do this correctly. Make sure you give everybody the correct aging token. If you need some help, please ask for it. They are fiddly, these numbers. So take a moment to age all of your senators. And while our senators do that, for all of our non-subs, we're going to take a quick commercial break. Please hang around and watch the ads. That helps to support our channel and all of our Roman activities, education and scholarships worldwide. It'll be great if you stick around. We'll be back in about 30 seconds. And for all of our subs, you get to watch some of the administration that's happening right now, and perhaps even some of the, the chatter.
Perfect. So I don't know what the problem was. I selected all the forces, but they just weren't appearing for me.
Yeah, weird. It's a roll 20 glitch.
Everything else was.
Not a perfect system. It happens.
It works pretty well for the amount of cards you got on here.
Yeah. It's right for the amount of content we've got loaded in here. I'm amazed it's doing as well as it is. All right. Let's look at my senators. Give me hold some thumbs up to screen when you're finished aging your senators, please. 1, 2, 3. Wait on the other 3. Take your time.
Decimus, just a quick question. Last week, I think it was last week, we talked about whether the war strength for a dictator, 20 or more, was that including the
Navy? Yes.
The leader. It's not.
Yes, I believe it does. Yes.
Okay, so yeah, okay, cool.
Another go around the dictator, do you?
I was just no comment.
Hey, look, you get my vote.
I am a war hero, guys. I remember we discussed it, and obviously we've only got 2 wars now, so just obviously for the upcoming year.
Sure. I mean, the only clincher is if the rules say that it talks about unmodified. If it uses the word unmodified land strength or land and fleet strength combination, then that will be no, you can't add the enemy leaders. But I'm pretty sure it does. So if you've got 20 or more because of enemy leaders, so in other words, the Second Punic War, that would justify the dictator here.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
What I hear in that question is that somebody should be appointed dictator to prosecute the Punic War next round.
Maybe it'd be best to wait. There may be reasons for that.
Okay, has everybody aged their senators? Thumbs up from our remaining 3 senators.
Yes,
Have everyone aged? 1, 2, 3. Quintus Octavius, you okay? Good, perfect. All right, let's go through our aging process. So looking for the 7 or up. So let's start with HRA. Let's have a double check of his pre-Byzantium faction. Zooming up to view. So we've got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. So they're still quite young. Nothing further to do there for you. Let's go across to the Marco. Where do you have the Eurdite faction? We've got all young'uns there.
Yep.
No problems. Chickens. Okay, House of Incognita. Yes, we've got 1 senator here that needs to do an aging roll. That's Manlius. He's age 8. So gently stepping through this. So what you're going to do in just a minute, you're going to roll a 1d6. Now, 6 normally results in death if you're 7. A 5 and a 6 normally results in death if you're 8, and because of bad omens, the 4 also comes into play. So you need to roll a 3 or lower to keep Manlius in the game. So at your leisure, please roll a 1d6.
Oh, it was probably nice knowing my senator. Yeah.
Yeah, unlucky there. Okay, so if you'd like to clear Manlius's tokens to begin with, and then we'll do your next little bit here to see if you get to hang on to him.
It's fine. He wasn't popular anyway.
F's out in the chat, boys.
F's in chat.
F. Press F to pay your respects.
All right, so the aged Manlius has sadly passed on. He lived to a ripe old age of 8. That's pretty good. What's the oldest senator we've seen? Have we seen anyone reach 9 yet? Not yet. No. This bad omen certainly makes it harder to live in these days. Okay, so now we're going to do your standard unopposed persuasion attempt to see if Manlius gets to stay in the faction. So just a reminder, if you flip over on your cheat sheet and have a look under persuasion attempts there, really the only one we're looking at here is based on this 2d6 persuasion fails number. It says 2d6 is greater than 9. So normally you will fail on a 10 or more. So, but then you've got bad omens, so you need to roll less than a 9 here. So you don't want, so you need to roll an 8 or less. Okay, so if anybody wants to correct me, but you need to roll an 8 or less to hang on to Manlius, and you get a 7. So Manlius will get to stay in your faction. There you go. All right, nobody else needs to be aged there. Make sure you update your faction votes and faction influence if you haven't already. Will do. Okay, down to Fortuna's Despair. Let's have a quick gander through here. I think they're all young'uns, all young chickens. Oh, there's some middle-aged men there. Yep. Good work. Okay, nothing to do there. That's right. Everyone died last time, didn't they?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. It was a disaster.
House of Julii has 2 people we need to deal with, so I'll give that to the custodian. Who would you like to go through the aging process first?
We'll go with Fulvius.
Fulvius will go first. He's 8, so you need to roll a 3 or less to keep Fulvius in the game.
He'll just say a quick prayer.
Certainly.
And it worked.
Wow. Very much it worked. That was good. Because I think there's a risk there, because when there's talents on his card, I think you lose those talents outright as well. I have to double check. It'd be worth when you die of natural causes. I think that the money stays there, but then that counts against you when you take your roll.
The mortician takes it.
Yeah, or something. Yeah, so that's worth noting. Okay, let's talk about Cato the Elder. He's age 7 here, so he's still a young old person, but nonetheless needs to take the roll. So you need to roll less than a 5, so a 4 or less. Oof. Oh, wow. Look at that.
Snake eyes.
God's shine on the House of Julii this month.
House of Julii, great work. So that means we'll get Fulvius to become 9. That's good. That's a good feat in its own right. Looking at Justia Marita, nobody over here that requires any additional aging stuff there. So good. I think that concludes our mortality. Is that correct, folks? Flipping over. Nothing further to do in mortality. That's right. Yep. Great. Okay, that's that done. Let's do a revenue phase. We're doing good for time so far still. So let's complete a revenue phase. No rebels to talk about. Okay, let's do personal revenues first. Now, I'll leave it to the governors to hold off on their provincial spoils choices just yet. We'll do that publicly in just a moment. But for everyone else, and back in Rome, of course, let's go through your normal process. So 1 talent for everybody, 3 talents for your faction leaders, 1 talent for every one of your knights. Don't forget to take your concessions if you're eligible to take them at this time. Make sure you reveal that corrupt portion. Don't forget the one Pontifex Maximus gets an additional 1d6 on top of his 1. And
6 minus 1 for the bad omens, just to remember.
Yes, 1d6 minus 1 for the bad omens. Of course, that is correct. So I'll let the Pontifex Maximus deal with that. There you go. He's rolled.
Do you still get the +1 if they're away from Rome? Like governors?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes,
so if they're away from those, they still get paid. Yep, that's correct. Even if they're still away from Rome. So Aurelius will still get his 1. That's fine. You know, you can start to pool and redistribute and move between your treasuries at this point. That's not a problem. If you want to talk about moving money between each other as well, feel free to do that. While you guys are drawing in funds and money, let me just hit up the governors that are eligible to do anything with their province. So Aurelius can't do anything. But let's talk to Terentius first, say. Terentius, will you be taking provincial spoils today, noting the bad omens?
No.
Okay, very good. Cornelius, will you be taking provincial spoils today, noting bad omens?
Yes, I will.
All right, go ahead and roll a 1d6 then. There you go. 3 minus 1 is 2, so you'll grab yourself an extra 2 to your total there.
Thank you.
Very good. Any other questions from people at this moment?
Just a general discussion. Do we have anything, any designs on games or donations? Just to make it not a deal, but simply to make it aware where currency may need to be allocated onto senators.
So what is your popularity of your dictator versus the state unrest levels?
So mine is 6
Pretty good,
at the
isn't it?
moment. Yeah, against the 4. And bad omen should be cleared by then. Yes, Decumus.
Well,
Decumus?
I'll help you there, Marco Wedia.
Sorry, Decumus, can you hear me?
Decumus, can you hear Nemerius?
I don't think he hears any of us.
Let me just double check the other window. All looks good across the board there. Who's having mic issues right now?
Hey, can you hear me, Decumus?
You.
I can hear you. Yeah, why? Sorry, are you trying to talk to me?
Sorry, yes. Sorry, yes. No, Mary,
Sorry, I'm doing several things at once. We just had a chest go flying again.
My apologies. So what were we bringing up again? I've forgotten.
donations.
No.
Donations. Yeah, and
Yeah, so somebody had a question for me explicitly?
Yeah, now I can't remember what it was.
When you make a thing of 10 talents, what do you get in return?
Oh, you get the 1 popular influence or whatever it is, I think. It should be
so it's on your cheat sheet there, if you have a look.
1
So
influence.
if you're donating to the state treasury, you'll get influence for the thresholds that you pass. So 10 talents will give you 1, 25 for 3, and 50 talents for 7. Then if you're sponsoring games later in the forum phase, you'll get 7 talents will get you 1 pop, 13 talents will get you 2 pop, and 18 talents will get you 3 pop.
Sorry, Decumus. My question was, the bad omens will be cleared by the time we do the population phase, correct?
That's correct. At the start of the forum phase, all current events get cleared.
Perfect. All right. So just, I guess to everyone, like obviously I've got the 6 popularity at the moment against the 4 unrest. And the treasury is not too bad considering we will get the double extreme allied enthusiasm. So it's just to be aware, obviously, what you guys want to do.
I put forward that it's if anyone would like to also donate to the Pontius Maximus to be ready to take the front of any future bad omens.
Rightio.
And I mean, and with your treasury as it is, I'd always consider donating a lot to the state treasury. Lots of discussion going on, talking about interest and repayment rates, and look at this guy.
I'll loan you that, Nemerius.
I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll just put the contract in the chat as a public deal.
All right, some public deals being made here.
What's the next thing if you donate more than 10? What's the next
25.
thing? 25. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Tiberius, it just in case, is that all right to be paid over 2 turns maximum, or would you like it on the what? Well, I'm just simply asking. You just want to check the terms, obviously, before we agree to this.
I
is a check
prefer
okay?
back within 1 term, if that's okay.
1 turn? Okay, I can probably do that.
Not looking for a mortgage.
Okay.
I'll bring you 3 over now, though.
Thank you. If I can't repay it in 1,
And 2 senators can make a donation on your a contribution on their turn, can't they?
I think you can only select 1 senator.
No, it says every senator can.
Yeah,
donate.
every senator. Yeah, so if you've got multiple senators wishing to make multiple donations from their own personal treasuries, then that is acceptable. Yes.
Okay.
That's the way I read it. Yep.
Tiberius, I've just put in the chat, just condition. Okay, perfect, cool, thanks.
Good. All right. Public deal reached there. Very good. All right. Any other people looking to do stuff? Everybody's taking their concessions money, of course. Everybody's taking money for their knights. The Pontifex Maximus did his 1d6, I saw. The governors considered their provincial spoils, I saw. That's good. So everyone's done their personal revenues, and everybody's allocated funds to their specific senators that they wish to do stuff with. So remember, when you're sponsoring games or if you're donating to the state treasury, it's got to come from a personal treasury of a senator or multiple senators, but the individual transactions from individual senators' personal treasuries. Of course, you can to and from your faction treasury as well, and you can cover it back up with your chest. Right, any other questions on personal treasuries and personal income? No? All right. So now that we've talked about distribution, let's go into province development. Let's scroll up to let's start with Trentius, because he is not affected. Now I don't think it may not be possible. Oh yes, it is. It's still possible. So I don't think it's possible for Cornelius, but it is possible for Trentius because of the bad omen. So because Trentius is not corrupt, in other words, he didn't take provincial spoils. Normally he'd get a 5 or a 6 to develop the province, but because of the bad omens, it only becomes a 6. So if he can roll a 6 on a 1d6 right now, then he can develop Sardinia at Corsica to something better. So, Trentius, please roll a 1d6 and get a 6. Let's see how you go. Nah, unlucky. And because of Cornelius's governor corruption there, it's not worth rolling for, because the bad omens removes that ability to get anything on a 1d6 roll. Okay, let's do state revenues. So if the Quaestor has a pen and paper at the ready, and I'll do a running total here as well. And let's see how we go. First of all, let's start with the 100 talents that you normally get. So I'm going to write that down. And for everybody playing on a calculator at home. Now let's go ahead and add the Extreme Allied Enthusiasm at this point, which is plus 75. And now that we've done that, I'm going to remove that specific event from the board to remind us. So I'll put that off into this shaded area over here.
Should be plus 150.
Okay, so now that should be a lot more, but sadly it is not. Okay, now that we've done province developments, we've done the initial state revenues. Let's talk about contributions. So, starting with the highest ranking available officer, Pre-Byzantium, Nemerius Aurelius. Anybody making a donation to the state treasury today?
No.
No. Okay. Cross to Marcoetti of the Eurdite faction. Anybody making a donation to the state treasury today?
Not today.
Not today. House of Incognita. Anyone making a donation to the state treasury today?
Yeah, Aelius would like to donate 25.
Aurelius would like to donate 25 talents to the state treasury, so we're going to add plus 25 talents to our running total.
Mr.
And-
Gucci loafers.
And Aurelius, along with his Gucci loafers, will get an extra +3 influence. So if you'd also like to grab yourself, it was a 7. You'll need a 7 for Aurelius there now. Good. And nobody else donating to the state treasury at the moment. Good. Okay, let's go down to Fortuna's Despair. Anybody donating to the state treasury today? Fortuna's Despair.
Not today.
Not today. House of Julii. Same question to you, good sir.
Yes, Cato the Elder and Sulpicius will be donating 10 each.
10 each, so we're going to see a plus 20 talents go to our running total, and each of those individual senators will get 1 influence each. If you'd like to part with that money to the bank at your leisure, and that will be you there. Okay, let's go across to Justia Marita. Anybody donating to the state treasury today?
Not today.
Not today. All right, so that's good. Okay, that's state treasury donations done. Now, let's talk about our debts. So, who can tell me -2 talents for each unit, totaling all fleets and legions and veterans together, 2 each. What is our total debt for our forces right now?
16, 32, 42, I think, if anyone wants to check my math.
Anybody wants to challenge -42 talents?
That's correct.
Okay. Now it's -20 talents for every active and unprosecuted war. So we scroll up here. We've only got 2, so we're going to get another -40 talents to our running total. And we don't have any land bills to talk about at this point in time. So let's now go back up to our provinces. And let's talk state income. So let's go to the controller of Terentius. Terentius, if you could please roll a 1d6, please. So it's going to start as a minus, and we're going to add -1 and then another -1 for the bad omens. So let's see what this comes out to be. Roll low. So we get -3, -1 becomes -4, -1 for bad omens becomes -5. So we need to add -5 talents to our running total. Let's go across to Cornelius. Cornelius, you could do your state income, please. 2d6. If she's done, -2 becomes 6, -1 becomes 5. So another -5 talents to our running total.
+5.
Sorry, +5. My apologies. So I got stuck in a rut with the previous calculation. Thank you for correcting me. So, what is our total there now? Who's been doing some maths?
93.
Any challenges to that? So 100 plus 75 plus 25 plus 20 minus 42 minus 40 minus 5 and then plus 5 will give us 93. That seems good to me. No other challenges to 93?
We sure?
Did I miss something at the end?
100 plus 75 plus 25 plus 20, it's 220, minus 42 is 178, minus 40 is 138, minus 5 is 133, plus 5 is 138.
138. Oh, hang on a minute. Yep. We've got a 138. I'm punching this into a calculator now because obviously I've missed something as well.
I could have missed something too. I was just...
Did we adjust the treasury based on those donations?
We did. No, we didn't.
Oh,
No.
Let's
I
do
didn't
that,
have
please.
the donations.
Can
It was 93 without the donations.
Sorry,
everyone just write in the
hang
chat?
on. They're in our running total, so let's not modify the treasury just yet. They're in our running total
Okay.
here. That's fine.
Okay.
We've thankfully got those accounted for. I'm just finalising the calculation here. Make sure we do the right thing. Yeah, 138. Yep, good. Okay, so now we can have 138 plus 53.
Should be 191.
191 is correct. At least that's what my calculator is telling me. So
I'll
now we
adjust
can
that
update our state treasury to 191. That looks a bit healthier.
A nice glutton of talents.
Now we don't have to worry about bad omens unless a manpower shortage comes.
That's true.
Shh.
We got a lot of forces, so we hopefully be all right.
I mean, we have our mascot in the back thanks to numerous Aurelius, so fingers crossed.
It's amazing.
Well, I have a
What?
matching one.
Very good. It's amazing what one turn can do. Look how much you guys have turned things around in one turn.
Suddenly
Just,
wasn't hiding there.
good
The early,
leadership.
the
Good
early,
leadership.
the early republic's easy. We shouldn't even had the naval victory to start.
Don't say that.
Last year we didn't even get this far, so.
Yeah, true. Yeah, you guys have certainly done well this year. Okay. Now, for the all governors, and that's all three of you, so Aurelius, Terentius, and Cornelius, you need to update your term dials. So, Aurelius, you need to get a number 2 and cover your center bottom number 3 number there, and then Terentius and Cornelius will need to replace their 2s with 1s now. You got one more turn left in province for those two. Aurelius survives his first turn out there. So we'll let the governors update those tokens.
No, I've lost it. Where's it gone? There it is.
Bobby.
Decimus, I just need your help to bring the marker to the front.
Scene. I'll do that now. To front. There we go.
Yep, and on Terentius as well.
Yep, scene. I'll work that for you now.
And oh, look at that.
There you go. That's
The
nice and
legend that
simple.
is Aurelius.
The legend that is
So,
Aurelius.
yeah.
Great name, Aurelius. All right. Okay. I believe if there's no objections, I think we've completed the revenue phase there. We're now at 10 p.m. local time. I said that we might finish a little bit earlier this evening. I'll leave it to you guys if you're unanimous. We could push on and do the forum phase, noting the time that it takes for people to do initiative. And then we could call it quits there, or we could just call it quits now. I think it's a nice point. It's up to you guys. I'll let you talk amongst yourselves.
I think I would like to kind of see the forum phase complete, because I think that gives us a good kind of mindset what's going on to the next year, and it usually doesn't take too long. We can probably get it done in the next half hour.
I second that.
I'm in agreement.
Sorry, what was that?
The proposition was to run the forum phase before calling stumps.
Sounds good to me.
Yep, as long as we can try and keep it to that half an hour kind of mark. That sounds good.
All right, let's smash through this then. So, clearing all events from the sandpit, okay, unless stated otherwise. So we're getting rid of the bad omens, thank God, we got rid of that. And we're getting rid of the drought effect marker that was out there as well. Zooming in on the highest ranking available also, which is the dictator, pre-Byzantium, and Aurelius Ingeniarius. We're going to start with your initiative with a 2d6. Go ahead and roll 2d6 in the on the field for me. Let's see how you go.
Perhaps I'd like you to roll it physically.
You get an 8. So you're going to be drawing a card. So I'm going to, again, reveal the Early Republic deck to you. Don't click the deck, hover. You know the deal. Okay, it's out.
Draw 1.
All right, you've got it. Is it red text or black text?
It is a red text card.
Good, you'll keep that nice and private. That's good to hear. I like to hear about red text cards. Okay, any persuasion attempts today, good sir?
No, thank you.
Okay, and who's going to be rolling for a knight today?
Excuse me. Junius, I guess.
All right, so you can roll a 1d6, get a 6. 2, unlucky there. Anybody sponsoring games today or changing faction leader?
Yes, please. Fabius would like to sponsor a slice and dice, please.
All right, and which one's that one? I can't remember. How much you
the
spending?
Lowest level, so it's 7 talents.
Yep, it is 2.
+1 popularity and -1 to the unrest level.
All right, so perhaps if, let's say, maybe Quintus Octavius, if you'd like to reduce the state unrest level by 1, please, while Fabius changes his popularity and banks that money in the bank.
Can do.
And then I'll let him consider if he's changing faction leader as well. Okay, let's move on to the Eurdite faction with Marca Wedia. Go ahead and roll your 2d6. That's nice and quick so far. Let's see how you go. Looking for 7s or not. You get a 3. So you're also going to draw from the Early Republic deck So remember, don't click the deck, just hover, and then you know the deal. Okay, so it's now showing. Go ahead.
And click draw.
Put a 1 in the box. There you go. You got it. All right. Is it red text or black text today?
Red text.
All right. You're going to keep that private. That's nice. Any persuasion attempts today?
Not today.
Not today. Okay. And who's going to be rolling for a knight today?
Julius.
Julia's going to be rolling for a knight. Any money to the cause for that?
Yes, he's going to throw 5 talents in.
All right. And because there's no bad omens, that's an automatic. So go ahead and bank that and bring yourself back a number 1 knight token for Julius. Very good. Anybody sponsoring games? It doesn't look so. I don't see any money on cards. And then feel free to change your faction leader if you so desire as well. All right. That's you done. Again, another quick one there. That's phenomenal. Okay, House of Incognita, 2d6. Let's see how you go.
And
7s or not? Ooh, close. Everyone's dancing around the number. Okay. Surely there can't be many cards left. I'm going to reveal the Early Republic deck. You know the deal. Don't click the deck.
Yep.
And do your thing. There it is. There we go. Is it red text or black text?
it's black text.
Yeah, okay. We were having a good run there. All right, drop it in the sandpit for us if you can.
I'm sorry, guys.
Tell us what it is. First Macedonian War. It's a bit late to the party. Yes, there it is. First Macedonian War, and because of the armaments icon, it'll be an active war straight away. So Quintus Octavius, you'd like to go drop that in our active wars box, please. Wish that'd be nice. So plop that up there. That's something for the Senate to consider. And unfortunately,
is it stacked with the existing Macedonian wars, or is it separate?
That will. Hang on. That's right. I forgot we still got a Macedonian war out there. So that's actually going to be an imminent war. I forgot about that. So if you could pop that in the imminent wars box, please. I thought we had defeated the Macedonian war last turn. My apologies. It was in fact the Syrian that we got rid of. So that will be an imminent war. It's going to sit there and it'll come up next turn. All right. So it's letting you know it's coming. The Macedonians are cranky that you didn't fight them instead. Okay, let's finish off your turn there, Quintus Octavius. Any persuasion attempts today?
No, there will not be.
I'll tell you who's rolling for a knight.
Aelius will be, and he has no money.
Okay, looking for a 6. Get yourself a 6. Oh, unlucky there. Anybody sponsoring games today, and any change of faction leader? All right, and no one know. All right, there we go. Let's scroll down to Fortuna's Despair, 2d6 in the chat. He will. He's rolling the wrong dice. Let's try that again.
Sorry, my bad.
He's just seeing for a wake. Let's try 2d6 this time. It was coming eventually. It was coming eventually. We've got a 7, folks. We're going to go down the events table now. So I'm going to skip across and have a look at that. We are still in the Early Republic at this point in time. So we're going to scroll down to the Early Republic table, and now we're going to roll and request that Tiberius Cornelius Jacobus rolls 3d6, please. He's going to get another 7, which is going to be Refuge. Now, this is fascinating, so we're going to look this up. This is one we haven't had yet. It's nice to have a bit of variety, and I'm pleased it's not a bad omen. Actually, the Pontifex Maximus was nervous there.
I mean, hey, it could have been an allied enthusiasm.
I know that feeling.
And it's interesting. It looks like Refuge is only in the Early Republic.
Right, and based on Poach Trout's response, it's probably not favourable. So let's go finding and see what that is. So choose. Let's see what the symbol is. If you want to look in the virtual deck to Marcus Decimus and see if you can find Refuge. I can't remember what the symbol is here. I'm going to have a look through. Definitely not that one. No.
It's not that one.
Just having a look here. Epidemic, no.
Found it. It's
Drag it out.
Let's see if the deck stops moving for a second.
Yeah, so stop playing through the deck if you're looking.
Is that it?
Got it.
Oh yeah, got it.
Yep. Drag it out to the sandpit for us if you can.
That's not too bad.
All right, there it is. I'll bring it up for everybody. The next enemy leader killed by a victory will instead be given refuge by the next war card drawn. That leader may remain in play and aid that war, but is discarded when that war is defeated. Ah, right. So the heroes are going to chop and change it up a bit.
Fantastic.
That's fantastic. I can see why Poach Trout had the reaction he did. That's not a particularly nice one to draw. Yes, refuge card. Okay, that's interesting. All right, let's finish off the turn for Tiberius Cornelius there. Any persuasion attempts today, good sir?
No.
All right, who's rolling for a knight today?
I will give it to Papyrus.
All right, 1d6, please. I don't see any money for the cause, so looking for a 6. 3, unlucky there. And any faction leader change today?
No.
And anybody sponsoring games?
No.
All righty. Let's go to House of Julii, 2d6, good sir. You will get a 5.
5.
Now,
This is only the second time I've drawn a card.
and guess what you have the privilege of, good sir?
Oh,
Drawing the first card of the Middle Republic.
Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. We have now reached the Middle Republic. There we go. So the early Republic deck is now expired. There's nothing
So
left.
we can get rid of refuge, right?
No, I wish. Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? It'll remain in play. But now everything that requires us to consult a different part of a table because of the Republic era that we're in happens now. So any future events, we now look at the middle column instead of the early column. So I'm going to now reveal the Middle Republic deck to you, good sir. Same deal. Don't click on the deck. Just hover, click draw, one in the box. There you go. The middle deck is now revealed to you. It'll have a grey border, but it still has red and black text, so same deal.
Here comes some like strength.
All right,
400
he's got a card in his hand. All right, is it red text or black text, good sir?
Oh, it's come up as 2 1s. Hang on a sec. There it
Yeah,
is.
yeah, that's right, because they're different decks. They're different decks. Yeah.
It's black.
It is a black text card. All right, so you'll need to drag that out into the sandpit. It is a.
Spaniards.
oh no. Oh,
Ah, here we go.
Yes.
Let's zoom in for everybody.
That's not bad at all.
Yeah, that's easy.
Lasdandian War. Strength of 6.
First of 3, great.
And there's a few of these on the decks there. So if Hispania Soteria and Hispania Ulteria are not yet provinces, treated as inactive until the revolution phase. So that's not a bad war. That's actually going to go in our inactive wars box.
Nice.
If you care to drag it there with the other one. So just got to note those provinces.
Are we able to activate that if we wanted to?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
Like any other inactive war, if you want to fight that, you may. So there you go. There's another inactive war to add to the box. All right, let's finish off your turn there, Lucius Julius. Any persuasion attempts today?
No.
All right. Anybody looking to roll for a knight today?
Sulpicius.
Sulpicius. Any money to the cause?
Yeah, he's got 5. Oh,
All right. He's going to be an automatic. Go ahead and grab a number 2 knight token and replace that one you got there, and put that money in the treasury. I'm assuming nobody is sponsoring games today. Any faction leader change?
Yes, Sulpicius. Sulpicius is going to become the faction leader.
Certainly. Okay, and I'll let you deal with all your administration there. Very good. All right, look at us. We're nearly done. Okay, Justin Marita faction, 2d6. Here we go. It's a 2. That's going to be a card draw for you. So I'm going to reveal the deck to you. You know the deal. Don't click the deck. Middle deck is now revealed to you. All right, you've got it. There he is. Red text or black text?
It looks like a red text.
All right, you're going to keep that private and keep that in your hand. Any persuasion attempt today from you?
No persuasion attempts. Thank you.
Who's rolling for a knight today?
There'll be Quintus. He'll be
Yep,
putting
I think-
5 talents to the cause.
5 talents. It's automatic. Go ahead and grab a number 2 knight token and replace the number 1 you've got there and donate your money to the bank. Anybody sponsoring games today?
No.
And you doing a faction leader change at all?
No.
All right. So that's everybody's initiative components done. Now, for everybody currently holding a purple major office marker, including censors, Pontifex Maximus's consoles, please go grab yourself a major red corruption marker and go plop that on your senator now.
Master of Horse included, right?
Master of Horse included. Master of Horse, Dictator, consoles, censors, any pro consoles, although there's none at the moment, thankfully. Everybody You have a corruption, and you have a corruption, and you have a corruption. It's you've grabbed the wrong one there, Fabius. You've grabbed a governor corruption token.
Ah.
Yep. So that were the ones we've defined for governors only that take provincial spoils.
Okay.
Alrighty. So no corruption for the Eurdite faction. Get one corruption for the Master of Horse at the House of Incognita. Of course, the field console is going to get a corruption marker at the Fortuna's Despair. And House of Julii is not going to have one. They've got lots of minor corruptions because they're concessions.
So the censor doesn't get one?
Yeah, sorry, censor does get one. Sorry, the token was floating. My apologies. And the Justia Marita, yep, Pontifex Maximus has one. Yep, okay. That's all the corruptions dealt out. Now, the Second Punic War and Gladiator, well, the Second Punic War is certainly active, so the highest ranking available officer here needs to roll dice to see which tax farmers are destroyed. So let's roll that 1d6 and let's see which tax farmer is destroyed. So, Dictator, if you could roll a 1d6, please. That's a 2. Who has tax farmer 2?
That is me.
All right, let's go destroy that concession, please. Pop that in the curio if you can. Fortunately, Hannibal's doing his thing. Okay, now the HRA gets an opportunity to try and get some people and farms back in the game. So let's start with senators. So let's start with Valerius. Now, there's no bad omens, so we need a 5 or a 6 to resurrect senators and concessions. So Dictator, let's start with Valerius. A 5 or a 6, please.
Oh.
Terrible. Let's do Copernicus. 5 or 6.
Oh.
Terrible. Let's do concessions. Let's do tax farmer 3. 5 or a 6.
Should I ask you to roll?
You
this?
roll another 1. Yeah,
3.
good. Tax farmer 3 is back on the field. Let's do tax farmer 2, please. 5 or a 6.
Oh.
What are you?
Can I ask you to roll the next one physically,
Yeah,
please?
you can. Let's do tax farmer 5. I'm rolling manually here. Here we go. Nah, it's a 2. No, unlucky.
If that was a 1,
Yeah, if that was a 1.
Just roll
the Matrix.
roll 20. See what you would have got.
Okay.
Yeah, roll and roll 20. See what you would have gotten. Oh my god!
and you told us this roll engine was good.
This is amazing. All right, so we only got 1 tax farmer out of all of those rolls. You're kidding. That's amazing. More 1s. All right. That puts. Why is it still rolling 1s?
That's got to be glitched. That's
Roll 1 more time. There you go. It's the way you're rolling it. I reckon that's the way you're rolling it.
Shaking him cut first.
They're pulling out those standard weighted dice again.
3, 4. So what's that? That's 1 6 times.
Oh, he's doing the probability sums now, is he?
Yeah, 1 6.
All right, with the Rome back in order, we've tried to pull some people out of the Curia. Everybody please update your faction vote tallies and faction influence if you haven't already, and be sure to update the major vote tally trackers and influence tracks as well. Go ahead and do that now. Take a moment. All right. Should be no other major changes there, and that will start to draw an end to our evening. I think that's rather nice, and we finished within that half an hour that we set ourselves, so well done. That was a very fast initiative. That was the fastest forum phase I think we've done, and the really cool thing is we're now in the Middle Republic. So we've now survived through the early Republic. We're now in the Middle Republic, which is absolutely awesome. You're going to start to see some really awesome different cards now. Things like lore cards, you'll start to see those. So be sure to read up on lore cards. And I'm looking forward to seeing what comes in the future turn, both with the wars that will come up, as well as new senators we might see, new concessions, etc. So this is all very fantastic. Well done to all of you senators. We'll see you again in a week's time at the same time, same place. Thank you very much for all your efforts, and for everybody else in chat, hang around. I'll usually do my normal debrief as we normally do. In just a moment, we'll transition back, so don't go away. We'll be back very soon. Okay, and we are back for our end of session summary. Great turn. I really like that. They started in a bit of a precarious position there, had a few active wars on the deck. There was 3, I think. That's right, there was 3. The Second Punic War, the Second Macedonian War, and the Syrian War. They ran their numbers, they did their probability checks, and in the end they went with the Syrian War, which proved to be a good choice. They got rid of that. They got some good talents in the bank. I think that paid out about 45 talents for them to add to their kitty, which was quite low. State Treasury was sitting at about 48 talents before they entered into that war. Thankfully, they got a good victory there, and they were able to add that 45 talents and get another war card and give themselves some breathing room, which is pretty important. Now, that Second Punic War is still there. Now aged 1, so they've still got a lot of time to think about it, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Now, the other interesting factor they need to consider is they drew that refuge event where when they defeat a war, that enemy leader or any enemy leader attached to that war is now going to hang around and go to another war. So that's pretty frustrating, and that'll probably affect maybe their decision about which wars they fight. Yeah, so Season Peronius points out that certainly the team now, the Senators, the session from the session tonight, they've lasted much longer than last year's playthrough, the 2020 playthrough. If you want to go watch that, you can watch that on our YouTube channel. If you look up Australia Nova Romana, you can watch the 2020 playthrough there. They technically should have finished last year at the end of the 5th session because they had 4 or more active wars in the active war forces box, and it missed me at the time as well, but even if a war is unprosecuted, it still counts towards your war tally. We let them play a 6th session anyway to see if they could have recovered it in any sort of fashion, and that wasn't the case. They were just so overwhelmed by conflict, so they finished up at the end of their 6th session. But these guys have completed a 7th session with tonight's run, and they've done really well, and they've put themselves in a really good position. Cloud Gang Kicklike certainly says, yeah, good session, and I certainly agree with the sentiment that they've done really well to get another win on the board. Now, what was also really fantastic, and I was completely expecting an absolutely different result, was the Governor Aurelius. Now, that was pointed out because Gallia Cisalpina is under attack from the Second Punic War. That was always going to be a tough post for any governor to be sent away to, because if the Senate didn't send a force to fight that war, then the governor has to fight against that war card with whatever he's got. Now, he had 2 provincial forces and a provincial garrison. And, you know, with their military rating, it wasn't going to be much. You know, I think we talked about the strength difference when he went in was something like 19 as a minus 19 strength difference, which is, it's going to be a defeat every time. But in sheer luck, he rolled a stalemate, I think it was, or a standoff, one of the two. It was 11 on the Second Punic War card. I can look that up. Yeah, it was a standoff. 11 is a standoff number. So because he rolled that, he was able to survive the onslaught, and provided he didn't die in the death chit draws, which he didn't, he survived, which is an outcome that I don't think anybody was expecting. I certainly wasn't expecting it at all. Yeah, that's right. And I agree, Clout Gang. You know, with Aurelius' successes, he doesn't deserve the popularity losses. You know, and we're going to double check that rule as well. Certainly from, you know, the loss of legions, you know, and if he had, you know, provincial garrisons there, that would have encroached a popularity loss there. Not quite as 100% sure about provincial forces and the losses of those, but by the way you read the text in a lot of cases, it talks about units, although in the case of popularity loss, it talks about legions. But, you know, we can follow that up during the course of, over the course of the week. Not a major modifier. Hopefully he doesn't suffer any popularity loss. He certainly doesn't deserve it. And the new medal that the Senate generated this evening, they called it the Pawn of Sacrificial Bravery. Yeah, that's PAWN for those playing along at home. The Pawn of Sacrificial Bravery for any commander that fights against a war with a negative modifier, starting modifier, which was very much the case for Aurelius. So he's very much entitled to that medal, along with his Punic War campaign medal. And I'm pretty sure there's another medal he's up for as well, because of that strength difference. I'll have to have a look. Yeah. So good on to Aurelius for taking one for the team, because he walked in there knowing full well that potentially he was going to succumb to the wounds of battle and be completely overwhelmed by the Punic forces. But he stood his ground. Amazing. So hopefully that's enough now that he can survive that, and maybe the Senate might take on the Second Punic War this next round. I mean, they have a lot of forces. They've got a strong force. They've got a lot of fleets already. They've got a good state treasury. God, that looks great. 191 talents in the state treasury right now. So they could plus up. They could march on to the Second Punic War here. I don't know. Or they could do something really weird and they could take on the inactive wars. Maybe not the Lustinian War that's just popped up. You know, that's not so much a first. Maybe the First Illyrian. There's 2 there. I don't know whether if they fought an Illyrian War already. I'd have to go back through the discard deck. But, you know, they're in a good spot again. And I'm really happy for them. And they've reached the Middle Republic. Certainly for me, I think this has become the longest game I've ever been a part of, either facilitating or playing. So, yeah, Unknown Star says, Guerrilla Warfare developed by Aurelius. That's yes, that's certainly a highlight from this session. So definitely looking forward to next week now to see how they go. I really want to get into this Middle Republic, see what they do with the current wars. Good job to the dictator. It'll be interesting to see if there's more political intrigue that happens now that they're sitting a little bit more comfortably. Is there anybody that's going to be gunning maybe for Consul for Life? Probably not. I don't know if any one faction has enough votes. We see Cato the Elder now sitting at 20 influence. He's 7. He'll probably be looking at retirement, and he might look to bank that influence unless he tries to push for Consul for Life maybe. Nobody's been really keen yet, but who knows? Maybe the conditions are set. Fabius now has an influence of 18 as well. He's only 1. So he is going to be a true threat for the years to come. It'll be interesting to watch Fabius. To have 18 influence and only be 1 year of age in terms of this game, not physically, of course. He is a dominant player to watch out for from what is a relatively small faction right now, the Pre-Byzantium faction. So, lots of exciting things happening. Very much looking forward to next week. So thank you very much in chat if you're hanging around. And of course, we can't go anywhere without saying a massive gratis tibiago and a massive thanks to Gaius Sempronius Skepsis Agricola, who's donated something in the order of 30 gift subs this evening. So if you received a gift sub tonight, be sure to drop a huge thanks in chat. Absolutely amazing that he did that. Really, really great. And there was still 100 bits he threw on top of that as well. So he continues to keep this channel alive, and Nova Roma and Australian Nova Romana are very thankful for his continued and ongoing donations. He is very much very deserving of his equestrian title that he has earned in Nova Rome as well, wearing the Ungusto Clavia, very similar to myself, although I think his stripes are a little bit more Tyrian purple than mine. A great thanks to him from myself, the province, and all of Nova Roma. So that's absolutely brilliant. And of course, if you're watching right now or in the future, you can make a sub. He's coming again. Another 200 bits from Sempronius Agricola. I am without words for your kind generosity, good sir. You are amazing, and I'm so pleased you are walking among us. Absolutely amazing. And of course, for everybody else, if you wish to make donations either through bits, subs, or direct donations, you certainly can. Everything that we receive goes through to helping the not-for-profit Nova Roma, supporting our education, our public and private events, and of course our scholarships globally as well, and supporting physical activities like this and this very Twitch channel here as well. So everything is much well received. Of course, even just following the channel is a huge help. We're currently sitting at about 89 or 90 followers right now. If we're looking for 100 before the end of the year, we'd love to reach 100 followers. So if everybody gets one friend and has them jump on a Twitch and follow our channel, we'll get 100 followers, which is a great founding bunch of Roman citizens to take us on our journey. I hope you guys would have caught a few days ago as well. One of our other fellow streamers now doing a broadcast of classical ancient board games physically. You can catch that in our video channel section below. Go through the About section and the video section there. You can see all of our previous videos and streams there. And we are always looking to add more streamers as time goes on. So stay tuned for that. We're certainly looking to add more content. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing what's coming in the future. Hopefully you are too. Well, that concludes our evening this evening to celebrate our full moon here, at least in the east coast of Australia. And our Monday evening here, our Monday afternoon Roman time. It's been an absolute pleasure, as always. I'm Decimus Aurelius. This has been the Republic of Rome Board Game Broadcast, Episode 7. Looking forward to seeing you next Monday, same time, same place. Walete.